Kansas City United head coach Mike Thomas.
Are we playing the intro?
And from the great state of Texas, please welcome the Texas Armadillos.
As we've witnessed GymAct grow to its own league, we've witnessed the transformation of an entire community. And tonight, 7 teams take to the floor to chase after one more prestigious title. With 2 weeks until national championships, every team on the floor tonight has something to prove. Every young man out here this evening is taking years of dedication, sacrifice, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, all in the chase of the title Best in the West. Ladies and gentlemen, GymAct Western Conference Championships begins now.
Ladies and gentlemen, 23 GymAct Western Conference Championships. My name is Kevin Riggle. I will be joined today by Carl Meter, Dakota Qualls, and Nick No. We are so excited to be bringing you this competition. As you can hear in the video, they're getting ready to go. But before we bring you this amazing competition, we're going to take just a moment, and we're going to watch a quick video on how this incredible sport is.
Report to your first event for your 2-minute warm-up. Once again, athletes, you now report to your first event for prepare for your 2-minute warm-up.
Oh, you can stop now. Good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just logging in with us, my name is Kevin Riggle. I am joined by Carl Meter, Dakota Qualls, and Nick No. We are getting ready right now to bring you the 2023 Western Conference Championships for GymAct. But before we get going, we're going to double check and make sure everybody's up to speed on how this incredible sport is scored.
Men's gymnastics is made up of 6 events: floor exercise, pommel horse, still rings, vault, parallel bars, and the crowd favorite, high bar. There are 4 types of skills on each event called element groups. Every time a gymnast completes one of these types of skills, they receive 0.5 of a point to their potential score, also known as their start value. Each skill the athletes perform is assigned a letter value with a corresponding addition to their start value, starting with A's equaling 1/10 of a point and currently going to I's equaling 8/10 of a point. All of this added together factors the gymnast's degree of difficulty. At the beginning of a routine, a gymnast begins with 10 points, known as their execution score. Throughout the routine, judges take away 1/10 for small errors, 3/10 for medium errors, 5/10 for large errors, and 1 full point for a fall from the equipment. These two scores added together make up the final score. Each team is allowed 5 athletes to perform on each event, with the top 3 scores counting towards the total team score. Then each event score is added together to create the total team score at the end of the competition.
Galveston, Texas, and we are ready to rock. Starting on floor is going to be the Washington Huskies. Starting on pommel horse is going to be the Bears.
Your 2 minutes begins now.
Starting on field rings, the Texas Armadillos. Starting on pop.
One minute all the way to the 2023 Gymnast Western Conference Championship. We are now in our 2-minute cut for our before we begin competition.
Joined today by Carl Meter, who many of you may know as the legend himself who caught the only Gaylord one on a high bar. Carl, what are you looking for today?
I'm looking forward to everything. It's been such a long time since I've been on the college scene. Everything is just, it's a lot bigger than I remember it being. So frankly, there's not a single thing that I'm not looking forward to today.
Fantastic. I'm joined by Dakota and Nick. They're Region 3 guys. There are a lot of Region 3 athletes here at Westerns. What are you guys excited for to watch tonight?
Well, super excited to watch the Texas Armadillos. It's our first time actually getting to watch it live, and we have a couple athletes on the team, or an athlete on the team, and just rooting for them to do good.
Fantastic. Nick, what about you?
I'm just thankful to actually get to watch these guys perform at a higher level than the varsity level and optional level. And I think it's going to be a great meet. I'm excited to watch.
I couldn't agree more. You know, Gym Act has grown. You know, Carl, you and I competed in the Gym Act circuit before it was Gym Act. You know, it was really Arizona and Washington. Just kind of they're above that NAIGC club level, but they weren't NC2A, and so it's so incredible. And we're actually going to do an interview later in the day with head coach of the Arizona program and president of Gym Act, Scott Barclay, and we're going to go over some of the history and we're going to learn a little bit more about it. So, you know, obviously the Arizona-Washington duel is going to be kind of the hot thing to watch.
It's exciting to see.
I couldn't agree more because, you know, Washington, Carl, you and I were rivals back in the day.
Hot rivals.
You know, and now we're going to get to commentate, and it's going to be really fun. You know, the Huskies have been looking really good all season, but so has Arizona, and it's going to be fun to watch that duel. Then we've got the newcomers on the scene: Bay Area Bandits, Texas Armadillos, and the Kansas City United, all coming in here and just trying to earn that spot. So I think we've got 3 teams at the top, and then there's going to be a decent.
Let's hear from these incredible athletes.
And then there's going to be another 3 teams, and it's going to be real close. It's going to be exciting.
Gym Act Western Conference Championships.
So we do have our amazing stream sponsor, SweetStreams.com. Zach is in here. He's got all the graphics in there. There are actually 7 different streams live on YouTube. So if you want to follow one specific team, you absolutely can. Please go to the main stream and just see everything all at once. But you're going to hear our audio all day long. So here we go, guys. Western Conference Championships. First of 6 rotations. It's game on. So let's see what we've got going here. But like I was saying earlier, I think what we're going to see is Washington is taking the floor right now. Arizona and Southern are going to battle it out with temporary spots, and then Texas, Kansas City, and Bay Area are all going to battle out to see that next round. So it may not be a super exciting fight at the top, but I think we're going to see a lot of really close battles for the whole podium.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you always have your game-changing events too. So when you get to Palm Wars, who's going to stay on today?
Absolutely.
And who's going to stick every pass on floor?
That's it.
Who's going to be getting the biggest vault?
Absolutely. And my favorite quote of all times, in gymnastics, you just never know.
And you just never know.
So this is team captain from Arizona, Blake Tingson, up on B-balls. Big double pike. Small step on a dismount. All right, the Dillos are
all right, they're in.
Rings. And Carl Rings Rings was one of your events.
It was one of the events of all time.
Absolutely, absolutely. What's the biggest challenge on Rings from an athlete perspective, Carl?
Keeping your support stable when you start to get tired, especially towards the end of a routine, was always one of the things I struggled with most. So I think you're going to see a lot of guys, when you get into those last couple of events, the giants, the handstands, really fighting to keep them clean. And you're going to see the real standout guys on rings, you're going to see them almost like parallel bars through the entire routine. Those are the guys who really have the event locked down.
Fantastic. And Dakota and Nick, this is actually your first GymX session you've gotten to watch. One of the really cool things, we're going to talk about some of the score changes just a little bit. It doesn't filter from NC2 scoring too much. But one of the things the GymX board decided was any iron cross position on rings actually receives a 5/10 bump.
Oh, wow, that's a big change.
That's a big change. They did it because, if you want to come watch men's gymnastics or you tell people you coach gymnastics or you did gymnastics, what's the first thing they ask?
Can you do an iron cross?
Can you do an iron cross?
Yep.
And Kevin, you know the name of our gym? Iron Cross Gymnastics.
There it is. So we're going to see a lot of iron crosses, so it'll be fun to watch how many teams take advantage of that. And I think we're going to see some iron crosses we wouldn't normally see because maybe they aren't the best with a 5/10 bump. And if you swing into it to C value scale, that's worth 8/10 of a point. That's almost a full point.
Huge.
It's massive. The other big difference is the stick value. Every dismount receives a stick bonus, starting at a 10th for a B and raising 1/10 per letter value. So a stuck C dismount is worth an extra 2/10 of a point.
So I hope we see some six today.
Right there, Andrew Fincher from Arizona. Carl, you and I just watched that. Stuck C dismount on P-bars.
So what's the bonus, right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
That's actually a C. Was actually worth a 2/10 bonus.
It's a 2. Oh.
Yep.
I'm curious to see how many guys are going to be going for those more difficult dismounts, right? Is it worth it here to risk it for the more difficulty?
If you play it safe, do you do the hard dismount?
I don't know. I'm feeling that people are going to be going for that bonus. That's a huge difference in score.
If I'm in it to win it, I'm going for the big dismount.
I couldn't disagree, but that stick bonus, if you've got a full twisted double tuck, that sticks some of the time, or you've got a double tuck that sticks every time, it becomes the same value. So, we're talking about gambling, but we're a championship meet. Everything's on the line right here, right? Everything counts right now.
And that's where it goes back to the coaching and seeing the percentages. Like, are you hitting the big dismount or are you not hitting the big dismount?
So really cool for us in our gym is our first GymAct athlete is Dylan McConkey, about to compete on rings. He's our first GymAct ever athlete, and he's such a hard worker. He's such an amazing person. He's studying marine biology at A&M, so he's a great student and an athlete. So he's able to focus on studying and focus on gymnastics at the same time.
And I say it all the time. The worst gymnast on the floor tonight is still better than 85 to 95% of the population.
100%.
So let's we're as a commentating booth, we're gonna keep an eye.
There goes the iron cross on the rings by Dylan McConkey.
There's an extra 5/10. He back up right into it, so it's worth an extra 8/10. Absolutely. Swinging up, breaking up the strength moves, does backup rise to straddle. It's a B value strength move, rolling forward. Another nice backup rise. This is a really clean routine for the Dillers. And I personally think, Carl, this meet will be made in the clean routines, not necessarily.
I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Always.
Yep. Swinging a handstand right there. It's a required part on still rings. Holding those handstands a little in on those straps.
Can he finish? Ooh.
1 step.
3/10 step.
3/10 step, yep. Okay.
So that's where you run that risk. He did a C dismount, which, as we learned earlier in that scoring video, is 3/10 of a point to 3/10 step. It's basically a wash.
Equals out.
So it really comes down to the coaching. If you trust your athletes to take those bigger dismounts.
Huge double pike off of P-bars, a little bit of a step there. But.
Yep. And that was senior team captain Vinny Calismo taking the floor for the Huskies to see what they've got for us. Huge double front.
A nice double front.
Next up on the steel ring, Sergey Popov.
Me personally, that's what I like to see. I like to see the big wrist, big roar. That's what I like to see. I like to see the guys actually go out there and say, "Hey, this is the championship. We're in it
right here
to
on
win
floor.
it."
Hey,
I beautiful love butterfly. Beautiful. One of my best friends, GymAct legend, competed against Carl on vault a lot. Daniel Brandenburg was the only guy doing it back in the day. Now we're starting to see it some more, bringing that artistry back.
It was very good. So Nick's actually 35, and he just turned 35, but the other day he tried to do his first time thing, which was a great thing to watch.
It wasn't bad.
He didn't land it.
One of the other things that we're talking about was SoCal United. I got to commentate in Arizona for Southwest Junior Cup. Huge triple back.
There we go. Did he stick that?
He didn't. It was a small
Oh.
but high risk, high reward. That's a D-value
Special.
skill.
He's amped right now.
It's a D-value skill. Would earn him an extra 3/10. That would have been a 7/10
So close.
right there. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. This is Caden DiGeronimo on P-Bars. We saw him in the promo for this meet. He's one to keep an eye on.
Oh, Pomno is amazing too.
And we're gonna look through P-Bars and we're gonna watch Pommel Horse right now to a brand new team, Kansas City United. These United teams are super cool, guys. Really what it is they can train anywhere in Kansas City. And
No way.
they get to come together, compete. SC United is the same way. Most of these teams actually don't train together 100% of the time. So building that team camaraderie, and Carl, that's something you and I had we were spoiled with.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
You know, the Washington Huskies and Arizona and even the Dillos a little bit, you know, they're always together and they're always training together, and it builds that camaraderie. And when you have somebody like Kansas City United or
Next up on the steel rings,
the Bay
Dallas
Area,
Hale.
you know, it's got to be an interesting thing to build that team camaraderie, that brotherhood, when they don't train together 100% of the time.
You know, the thing about this, when you do train together, it's amazing. But then when you train apart, when you do come together, that
It's a
moment
special
together,
thing.
it's amazing. I guarantee that build off the team environment is amazing because these guys don't get to see each other all the time.
Absolutely. All right, we are over on Pommel Horse with KCU. Some beautiful scissor work, single leg cure up into the center. They do have to touch all three parts of the horse. He's fulfilled that so far.
Beautiful more.
Yep, that nice stretch turning element there. Should be coming into a dismount right here. He's got to keep his feet off the horse.
Swing it up.
A little bit of a press action.
That might be
It's
a
a good
large
fight at the very
deduction.
end, though. It was very.
I think that might be a large deduction, though.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. On high bar from SC United, I just watched the Cal Hot. You don't see those very often. Here comes the Jim Hansen.
Now this is Will Parrish. This guy's been competing since we did. He's still
German
running
and
out
L grip
there.
giant. Very hard skill to do.
What a legend.
Really pirouette.
Competing for that long, you know, gymnastics is so hard to keep going in so many ways. Big full twisting double tuck.
Oh,
No bonus.
I do want to call out national team member Dallas Hale and Rings about to come up next. Who's a senior national team member?
No way.
Yes, Dallas
I
Hale.
did not know
competing
that.
with gymnastics.
Very, very
It's
nice.
amazing.
And this is one of those things, you know, I tell people about gym act and even athletes, and they're like, oh, it's just gym act. No, man, like,
No, you
look
have
around.
some of the best athletes in this session.
All right,
Give me a
so
big routine, guys.
we're keeping an eye right here. We're kind of winding down this session, so we're going to keep an eye on Rings right here. Let's see who's got
I'll
for
tell
us.
you, this kid goes big. This kid goes big. He goes for gold every time he's up on an event.
Right up in that straight plans there. Rolling forward out of it. Beautiful. Yamawaki.
Milwaukee.
In a tucked and pike position, two different values.
Coming up next on the floor.
Walk arm press. I talk about all
Which
the time.
is surprisingly one of the hardest things to do in the sport.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of people that can do iron crosses, but
Not
can
many.
they walk on press?
Absolutely. And I talk about all the time the basic skills like a press or an L seat
Oh
done
my
very
God.
well separate out the good from the great. Here we go. We're coming into a dismount.
Feet down.
Can he
Can he
find
do
the
it?
stick?
Beautiful, beautiful,
Biscuit to get the biscuit, and he got the biscuit. That was
fantastic.
amazing.
Great call by head coach Tom Meadows right here.
Oh, yeah.
Let him risk it. It's a big. It's a D.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so what was the bonus on that?
It's a D value
So the
skill.
bonus on that is
3/10. So he added an
Huge.
extra 3/10 for that stick for
And
his team.
I don't want to get away from the toe point. When you see a guy like that at this level, he's still focused on that toe point. It's amazing.
All right, Washington Huskies up on floor. Let's see what we got here.
Oh,
Huge.
double.
Double tuck. That means he did 2 twists, 2 flips, all in one air.
So this is Andrew Lehman. He came to the team
Open
from
up the double next
Alaska.
pass.
Just about one of the
Double full, got
bounciest guys
connection
I've ever
value there.
met.
And then third pass here. And if you guys want more information
2.5.
on all of these, check out the Gym Act YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're putting out all kinds of content about how all these amazing events are scored, how they're built, so that you can continue to learn more, and hopefully we can continue to help you guys
Wow,
understand
beautiful
the
Peach
sport.
Hansen on P-bars.
Beautiful mount.
Beautiful Healy on P-bars. Washington Huskies still out on floor. Should be coming in for his dismount right here. Let's see what he's got.
Full, little hot.
Beautiful a double fold with just a small hop. And, you know, it's something that my coaches used to always tell me, and now, you know, I run a very, very large program in the juniors, and I tell my guys, if you go for the stick too hard, a lot of times you fall. Your job is to keep it 1/10 or less.
I heard an awesome quote today by Glenn Morris. He said, if you reach for the force, you can be there every time.
That does conclude that rotation. Please rotate to your second
It is absolutely what you're going to see. If anybody reaches down, they're going to find it every single time.
Here at the 2023 GymAct
All right,
Western Conference.
end of rotation 1. We're going to have Jeff Crockett come on over, and he's going to join us real quick. Jeff Crockett is the head coach of the Washington Huskies. And Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Looks like it was a solid first rotation for you guys on the floor.
Yeah, 5 for 5. Awesome. We had 4 sticks. Started out really strong. I'm really excited.
Fantastic. The biggest thing I want to talk to you about is we were sitting here talking. The Washington Huskies have invented 3 different releases on high bar. You yourself invented the Crockett, full twisting Jaeger from front giant grip. Carl Meter here on my left, double twisting, right? Carl Meter is the first guy to ever catch the Gaylord 1 laid out, and then Ben Bloom just caught. What is in the water in Washington that causes this? I mean, that's crazy.
I can't tell you. It must be all that rain.
All that rain. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Who are we looking out for in these next 5 rotations from the Huskies?
So we have 3 all-arounders today. So we got Bradley, we got Andrew, and we got Xavier. So they're putting together an all-around score on each event. We got a really nice, exciting high bar routine by Julian later on. So some things to look out for. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. We can't wait to see what you guys bring the next couple of rotations, especially as we ramp up. I'm excited to see what you guys have here tonight, and then see you guys again in 2 weeks in National
Thanks.
Championships.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
All right, yeah.
So, Carl, as a former club athlete and GymAct athlete, what's exciting you here tonight? What are we looking out for?
The thing that excited me most is just the scale of what has become of, you know, what was formerly the club division. I know, like you were touching on before, back when we were doing it, it was so small. It was usually, you know, Washington, Arizona, SoCal were the main 3 names you would always see. And I'm sitting here in a group with 5 or 6 teams just in the Western Division. It's nothing that I ever thought would come of this division of gymnastics. It's amazing to me.
Absolutely.
It's a type of energy that I've just never seen here before, and I'm loving it.
And we're going to talk about that a little later with head coach of the Arizona program and president himself, Scott Barclay, is going to come over and chat a little bit about that. You know, I think it's so huge. You know, a few years ago, 2020, COVID hit, we got locked down, and so many programs got cut. And now, I mean, look at this. We're only in the Western Conference Championships, and there's 7 teams on the floor. So, I mean, Carl, in my opinion, the want is out there. These guys want to compete in college. And I think one of the biggest things is, you know, college is such a trying time in kids' lives. You're 18 years old, you go out, you're on your own for the first time, and having that brotherhood, what did that mean to you?
It meant everything. I mean, gymnastics was really the only thing that I had, you know, leaving high school. I wanted to study, but I was missing, you know, I was kind of a loner. So finding a group where I was able to, you know, find and grow with these guys for the next 4 years, it's an enormous part of, you know, who I am today, the person that I am today, you know. I can't imagine what things would have been like had I just kind of gone through and just, you know, limped my way through college and gone on without having the circle of people around me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think, you know, beyond the gymnastics, that's the kind of thing that so many people just don't realize. So many people don't know about this. These guys are out here, they're doing men's gymnastics, the hardest sport on the planet, and they're doing it for each other. They're not just doing it for themselves. As Jeff just said, there are 3 all-arounders on the floor, which means they're out here, they've got to hit the routines that are going to count for their team, because they set a lineup ahead of time, and if your all-arounders aren't in that lineup, they've got to jump in behind. So they're out here, they're trying to get their all-around score, you know, they're trying to better themselves. But then when it's go time, when their hand goes up for their team, they've got to do it for the guy standing next to them too. And there's so many other sports out there that just don't have that mentality or that difference. So I'm excited to see that.
You know, it's been said a lot that gymnastics is an individual sport, and having been through college now, I don't think that is further from the truth.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you know, we're rejoined by Nick and Dakota here, and we were just talking about you know, how gymnastics has had to shift. back when we were all kids, it was you stayed at your private club if you wanted
Coaches, you may now begin your 2 minutes. Coaches, you may now begin your 2 minute time.
Like, this is the future. I mean, think of our last Olympics. How many guys weren't from a collegiate program?
Yeah,
One I can name, no.
which is awesome.
That's
It's
it.
amazing.
And so, we were just talking about how the Gym Act is saving something that is so important to so many people. And I'm just honored to be here with you guys and ready for 5 more rotations of great gymnastics.
Glad you can have us.
So,
What I absolutely love about gymnastics is it gives these guys a place to continue on their gymnastics career. A lot of
And
these
also
guys
focus on their life.
focus on their majors. They may not necessarily want to go and pursue 110% into gymnastics, but this gives them a place to actually go and do the sport that they love. Because these guys love gymnastics, and
But
it's
not
an
every
amazing
university
sport.
is offering it.
And to say it's the selection. If you wanted to go NCAA was so small. We're finally seeing it at a point where your opportunities for what you want to do and find it.
1 minute left, coaches and athletes, in your 2 minute time.
all right, so we are winding down the 2-minute touch here. We're looking at SCU out on floor. The Washington Huskies are taking a pommel horse. That's going to be an interesting one because if Washington's going to make a play to take over Arizona this meet, it's going to happen on pommel.
I'll just say we've been historically weak on pommels, at least back in my era. This is probably the strongest I have ever seen the dogs.
It's a new era.
pommel
It's a
horse.
new
I
era.
couldn't agree more.
I am amazed. I am
just
amazed
a couple months ago
how
at
far that team has come on that event.
Southwest
It
Cup
is
in
not.
Arizona, the Huskies slapped pommel horse. It was awesome. All right, going to Still Rings, we're going to see our new inaugural teams of the Bay Area Bandits and Kansas City. And Bay Area Bandits were formerly known as the NorCal Condors. They kind of disappeared for a while. It's been picked back up. So excited to see them. The Texas Armadillos are headed to ball. Rocky Mountain Mavericks, another team that's going through a great rebrand, is going to the bars. And one of the big ones to watch this rotation is going to be Arizona High Bar. They have been sticking the daylights out of some big dismounts and they've got some great execution.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Don't take your eye off the high bar because they're doing big release moves. They're doing some big gymnastics. Keep your eye on high bar.
On the ball,
What do
Brady
you believe right now,
Green.
Kevin?
On the parallel bar,
We'll have to
Marshall
double check that
Burrows.
super quick.
And on the high bar will be Hunter Fletching.
Let's find out some team scores here.
Yes. All right. On P-bars, we have Rocky Mountain.
And again, Rocky Mountain, Texas.
It's very slim details on P-bars, though. A lot of these skills, they can hit almost every time. But how perfect are they going to hit them? Bent elbows. Are they going to hold everything? Are they going to move their hands? A lot of gymnasts like to regrip the P-bars. Are they going to?
Is that a 10th every time?
I've seen routines with huge
every time
skills.
they're
If the
gonna
guys
do
are
that.
walking a marathon on their hands in between each one, it adds up fast. Yeah, it's an interesting balance seeing who goes for the big difficulty and who tries to kind of keep it technical and keep it clean and seeing how those scores are going to balance out.
And at the end of the day, do you think the going big and having some deductions is going to win, or do you think
The guys that
Same
find that happy
type
middle
of-
point are going to be the ones that take it, I think.
I agree with
You
that.
got to know your
That's-
limits, know what you can do clean.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the first rotation, Washington Huskies are currently in first place with a 54.15. Texas Armadillos second place right now, 53.75.
Off rings, which is
Arizona 50.6. They got some work to do here. Rocky Mountain 48.85 in fourth. SCU in fifth. Listen to this team score: 48.4. Less than 4/10 separates fourth
It's
and
gonna be
fifth.
a close
Going into
race.
sixth place, 42.1. Here's the crazy thing. You guys ready for this? 12 points separates the entire field right
It's
now.
going to be a close race.
It's going to be a
And
fun
this is
race
what I
to
love
watch.
about the sport, because when you watch a football game or anything can happen in gymnastics. You could be separated by 4 points, and by one rotation you can close that gap. Everybody can hit, anybody can miss it anytime.
And team chemistry plays a lot in that too. You have one guy fall, and that can take the whole team down. You know what I mean? And you have a guy hit, and that can build the team up. And you're going to see that today. You're going to see somebody get pumped up from somebody hitting, and that team chemistry is going to go up or go down. And that's the exciting thing about this sport is you never know, ever, what's going to happen.
Absolutely,
What do
absolutely.
you have on high bar, Kevin? What team?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Let's see what's going on here. Let's watch this awesome high bar set from Arizona. Arizona had some issues last year. They actually got shut down.
Oh no.
There's a little bit of an issue between them and Arizona State University. And, they fought through it, and they are back at full strength. And look at this release section.
Locked elbows on every
This is the big gymnastics I'm talking about. I love to see it. I love seeing multiple release moves. There's guys that play it safe. They might do one, but that's what I love about Arizona. They're getting out there. They're doing the big stuff. It's amazing.
Next up on the skill ring.
He's going to
down.
this one. See what he's got. Laid out, full out.
Oh,
Small step on the dismount.
D-dismount got what bonus?
D-dismount should have gotten a 310 bonus if he had stuck.
And that's
I
where
love watching that.
this bonus system makes the game a different. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. I love watching it, but these guys, they need to stick. They got to get out there. They got to stick their landings. If they really want to win today, that's what they're going to do.
Absolutely.
How many scores go to Kevin? How many scores go to each?
To each team.
Yep.
I believe we are still in a 5-up, 4 count, so they do get to drop their lowest score, which when you talk about that team chemistry is so important. I think so many times
on the high ball,
guys on the floor
Peacock.
forget that you do get to drop one score. As soon as somebody falls, like you're saying, Nick, like it can just destroy the morale of the team. But it's so important for these guys to remember that you get to drop your lowest. That was a
Beautiful mount.
Beautiful mount
Beautiful free hip.
from Rocky.
Very,
Mountain there
very hard
P-bars.
on rail on P-bars.
Carl, you were a big P-bar guy also. Did you ever do that mount?
Yes, I did actually. My senior year. No, my junior year.
Did you ever hit your face on that other rail when you were mounting?
Several times. The first day I learned it, I took the bar right to the nose.
Here comes a cross. I'm not sure if you got caught at Barry Banda's going after that 5/10 bonus right there on the
This whole weekend, we've definitely seen that these judges are looking for a longer hold.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So in gymnastics, you have to have a 2-second hold to get credit. Yet you have to almost think that you're holding it for 4 seconds because when you're up there, you don't think about.
Depends on who's counting.
Yep, exactly.
There was a big stuck dismount from Rocky Mountain on P-bars that really, really helps. It was a very, very nice clean routine. Big release right here on high bar from Arizona. Arizona's high bar lineup here is going to be one to watch.
They're looking great. Where was Arizona? Like that? That
were
might
in
be
third.
the team to watch.
Look at that cross right to handstand. Big dismount.
come on.
He stuck this at their home meet. Let's see what he's got.
Put it down, put it down, put it down.
Oh.
He actually calmed that down. He does have a full in, full out, which is 2 twists, 2 flips. And
He's holding back a little bit.
He's going
Today.
for that stick bonus for sure.
Man, I want to see these guys get that. Like even bring it back to team chemistry too. As a coach, you gotta balance your setup because you might have that guy that might miss, but then your next guy, you want him to hit. You want him to hit. Just to bring the morale back up, and you got a lot of tough events. You're doing the biggest skills. This is the championship meet. You never know what's gonna happen.
Here we have another free hit mount on P-bars. Very cool mount.
All right, let's see what we've got.
Very risky too. Can he
Rocky
hit his
Mountain.
lines over the top of the P-bars?
And every P-bar is bounced just a little bit differently. You see him working that other bar. Here we
Figuring
go.
out the timing of it.
Right
Okay,
on.
good save. Very good save.
Little iffy, but he held it together really nicely.
I should have
So
tried
if you've
one
ever
like
watched
that.
before, the one thing about these P-bars is it is the new Evo set. So if you've ever watched before, they're on 6 notches, but this Evo set, the fixed setting is on 5. So if it may look a little bit lower, a little bit higher, that is the fixed setting.
Look at the circle from Washington Huskies, Carl. That extension is huge. His hips are all the way open in the front.
And dismount.
See how
That's
the
what we
swing
were
is
looking
That's
for.
what we want to see.
That was
Awesome
amazing.
dismount.
That'll be one of the best dismounts you probably see today.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't think his legs ever touch the horse. And actually, if we watch, I've got the live stream right in front of me, the main stream. We'll see if we can see it in the background right here. Watch this right here. Very background of the main stream.
Feet.
It's going to come
You
around.
want to watch the feet, and if they touch the pommel horse, that's going to make the difference with these.
Not even
Not at all.
close.
That was amazing.
They weren't even the same zip code.
Awesome.
And that's what
Right.
the judges are looking for. They're not looking to muscle it up. They want to see a swing straight to that hands.
We have another dismount coming up on high bar. Let's see if he can land it and stick.
Beautiful in-bar.
We haven't seen a stick on high bar yet today, actually.
I don't. Not that
I've
I've
yet to
seen.
watch one. I've yet to watch one.
Let's see what we got.
Here it
right
is.
here.
It's gonna
Can he
be
put it down?
Don't
See
fall
dismount?
off. Get there.
Oh!
All right, and you can hear team chants. This is one of those things we're talking about, team culture. I know just because I competed for Arizona, every time a guy sticks, they go, there's another Arizona stuck dismount, and the whole team answers ASG, ASG, ASG. So awesome. We were actually competing in Melbourne, Australia. We were invited to Victoria because they're trying to create kind of a college league. There's no college sports in Australia.
I did not know that. That's
I didn't either. Yeah. So we got invited out to kind of help start a gymnastics version of it, and I was in floor finals, and I stuck my last 3 passes, and I'm gonna cry. It was a moving moment. The judge had actually just spent a year abroad with us on team, and right when I salute, he knew I'm a hype guy, so I salute, and all of a sudden across the entire venue, Party Rock Anthem comes on. I mean, just loud as can be. I just destroy the routine. I stick the dismount, and I hit, and I'm freaking out. And there are a bunch of juniors in that are just all about it. They're freaking out, like super awesome. And I look up in the corner, and head coach Scott Barker looks at me, and he looks at the captain, cuts him off, and goes, "There's another Arizona stuck dismount," and the whole venue, ASU, ASU.
Oh my gosh, amazing!
I'm looking forward to hearing that chant today.
Me
That's
too.
what I want.
And you know, we were talking about this earlier, Carl. Those are the moments that they mean so much more than just gymnastics. It was incredible. Here on High Bar. See right here, big release from Andrew Burnett. Boom, big,
beautiful stretch Tkachev.
So beautiful. See what he's got right here, another Tkachev, high risk.
Beautiful.
Great extension.
And one thing to look for after release moves, there's a lot of guys that bend their arms after the giant, after the release move, and he's doing a beautiful job of keeping his elbow straight. He's not losing deductions. He's hitting his angles, and it's an amazing routine.
Can he put it down? Here it goes, the end of the routine.
Full out.
And he did. Very beautiful. Carl, I was interested. So I heard that you're the only athlete to ever put the G2 laid out, right? G1 laid out. What was your dismount of high bar?
My dismount of high bar was a triple back.
Oh my gosh.
And I think we'll be seeing a couple of those today.
I'm very excited. We do too. And that's a very hard dismount.
What is the difference between doing it just out of a normal, just in a normal turn, or putting that at the end of a routine?
At the end of a routine, that was one of the most challenging things I had to figure out as a freshman. Because as a freshman, I had a double tuck full, and I got the twisties and I lost it. And so I ended up with a triple back as my only option for my dismount.
That's a good option.
So it just came down to sucking it up and trusting myself to actually get it around until I, physically got the endurance for it. And then once I had it, the trust was there. I could throw it and I could be okay with it, but it took a long time to get the confidence to know that I can get that thing around at the end of a long set.
Yes.
Because it's a totally different animal doing that doing it fresh when doing it tired.
So
it's a big skill.
Very impressive.
As we come down, actually it looks like we've still got a few more routines here in the end of rotation 2. So let's see, Kansas City United.
Asia Thompson.
Right here, Kansas City United on rings. Young team. Let's see what he's got. Kip to Maltese, definitely high, but you love seeing, especially as younger teams, they've got nothing to lose, right? If you're Kansas City United right now,
there goes the cross.
There's that 5'10" bonus, very nice, long hold. But if you're KCU or Bay Area Bandits or any of these smaller teams, even the Dillos, like, you're not going to be taking down the powerhouses yet. So you put the big risk in because it gets them under the pressure, pulls your team together, and it proves, you may not be able to beat them overall, but maybe you can take down the Huskies on Palm Horse or Arizona on High Bar, and it starts cracking that foot in the door. And the biggest thing is Arizona has been on top of the club scene before it turned GymAct for so long. Last year, them getting beat, I think it just, it's like when Kohei Uchimura got beat. All of a sudden, somebody did it, and now it's possible.
Yeah.
So, well, I was gonna say, it's like maybe not today, but they're coming for them. They're coming for them in a big way. They're putting out big gymnastics. They're getting amazing athletes out there, and they're coming. They're just waited. In a few years, you never know who's gonna be on top.
For a lot of these new teams, it's about setting an impression for these first 2 years. Okay, look, this is the magnitude of gymnastics we're able to put out right now. Right, you want to be a show off. You want to impress people.
Right.
Absolutely. And, Carl, I think that touches really close on something the Huskies do incredibly well. The Huskies are known for putting some stuff on the floor that other teams won't risk. And, I almost feel like, Carl, we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show. It's really interesting to me. the Huskies have always been right behind Arizona, and there have been a few times in the last decade that Huskies have been able to pull one over on them. And Carl, in your opinion, what do you think the big differences are? You know, I look at the coaching staff and everything that goes into building these teams, and there's just not a reason for the Huskies to never be able to quite jump that over. What, in your opinion, is the reason that Huskies have a hard time taking over that top spot?
That's a loaded question.
Earlier you said,
like I said, the Washington has all the coaching talent they're ever going to need to make that happen. Washington kind of went through a rebuilding phase in the past, maybe 8 years or so. When I heard about Washington back in 2013, when I was a junior, I think the program was down to 4 guys. Wow. So the year that I joined was in its kind of building phase. So we're at the point where we're getting we're getting talent, but we don't have quite the numbers that ASU does. ASU has always had a full roster. They've always had depth.
Washington Huskies.
And so we end up in a situation where we put up these big skills. We go all out, because we have to. And that doesn't always lend itself to good consistency or good execution. That gap is narrowing. We're getting to a point now where they're getting the consistency, they're getting it clean, and they're keeping the difficulty in, But that hasn't always historically been the case.
Fantastic. So as we come into the end of rotation 2, we're actually going to have somebody jump in right here. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk to Mr. Dallas Hale just a little bit. Dallas, why don't you come on over, have a seat with us?
Absolutely.
Dallas, thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me.
And you've been a coach for a long time. Where do you coach at?
Oh, I am currently at a semi-retirement moment in my life. I'm still certified. I still fill in where I'm needed, but Region 3 is where I'm at, and my son's at Cypress.
Fantastic. And one of the reasons we wanted to pull you in is your son trains out of Cypress but competes for the Texas Armadillos. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Coaches and athletes, you now will rotate to your next event.
What has Gym Act meant for you and your son?
Well, it gave him, since he went senior elite, he was needing to get into some meets, and since he's doing his college due diligence and doing some internships, he was invited to do Gym Act. So it was really important for him, especially when he was injured, for him to get some more meets in and really get with some of these other guys that don't have the opportunity.
Fantastic. So, let's talk about the Texas Armadillos. They were a probationary team last year.
Correct.
We saw just 1 or 2 guys out on the floor. From my opinion, I think it's a passion project. I think head coach Tom Meadows, he runs such a strong program down in Cypress, and to be honest with you, from a little bit I've talked to him, I think he just got sick of having great gymnasts that weren't able to continue because the opportunity wasn't there. Is that fair to say?
That is very fair to say. With the sport going the way it is, they've gone off to college and stuff. Now we've got gymnasts that are deciding to stay and forego, and that's why again Gym Act was so important, because like Dallas, he turned down scholarships from a lot of D1 schools because he wanted to focus on his gymnastics and he wanted to do an internship. And so going into it, they were probationary last year. After 2 events, they're in first place, and so they're really pulling it in right now.
Right. So as you were talking about, the Armadillos, I think, as a younger team, how are they doing as far as stepping up to a bigger stage, something different? How do they handle that pressure when they're in here against, Arizona?
We're in the third rotation here at the 2023 inaugural.
You have a bunch of guys that train together. We have one guy that's not here right now that wasn't able to compete, Carlos Ojeda, and out of A&M. Dallas, national team member, junior national team member, junior national team champion. You've got Sergey, who has been training in Cyprus. Again, these guys all train together. They've got a very tight-knit unit, so they're used to training together, working hard, and pushing each other.
And Dallas, I think I'm going to make your day here. I just pulled up the scores, and here's something real interesting. 2 rotations in, Texas Armadillos are currently winning Gym Act Western Conference Championships. Scores as they stand, the Texas Armadillos are sitting at a 105.2. This, I would have never predicted this. This is insane. 105.2. Washington is in second place with a 102.25 right now. Arizona is at third. Arizona, the king of Gym Act, is down at third place with a 100.25. with SCU at a 99.85. And then Rocky Mountain rounding out at a 98.15, and the Bay Area Bandits coming in strong with 77.7. So if you're Tom Meadows or your son on the Armadillos, how much is that going to push them through the next 4 days?
You know, one thing I had to talk with all these guys about, I told them, go in there, this is another practice. You guys go and train like you compete and compete like you train. It's a very old motto in gymnastics, and these guys are all doing them, and they're coming in and they are showing up to compete. They had a little rough year last year. We got plagued by some injuries, but they are really showing up to compete. You just saw Dallas doing a peach to one bar into a daily time, and they are coming to show up and show their day what it's all about.
Fantastic, Dallas. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to watch the Armadillos say hi to their third rotation. All right, real quick.
Eric Chan. On the steel ring, Drake.
Rotation 3. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out that floor stream. Taking the floor exercise for Arizona. Crowd favorite for long gym actor, Jackson Harrison. Keep an eye. This kid puts artistry back in the sport of gymnastics with this right here. Tucked double right out of the gates. So real quick, before you get too into it, Arizona's on floor. SC United's going to Pommel Horse. Washington Huskies are on steel rings. Vault.
Landings are perfect.
That is not correct. I apologize.
Beautiful L.
I am still watching floor. This routine is awesome. His artistry is beautiful.
And you can see him taking care of the connection bonuses on floor. Bounding out of the back layout for the extra 10.
Big mistake there from the Armadillos. That's going to be hard to fight back. But I'm sorry, as I was saying, on vault,
5 up, 4 count.
On vault, we have Bay Area Bandits in Kansas. P-Bars is going to be the Texas Armadillos, which right now is the one we're really excited to watch. And High Bars, Rocky Mountain Mavericks. Make sure you guys take a moment, hit that subscribe button for us. Make sure you don't miss any of this crazy, exciting action. And again, if you're looking for a specific team, go back to the main page and you can jump all over each stream.
What is the competitor that just competed floor? I don't know his name.
Jackson Harrison.
That was one of the prettiest routines I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
His artistry is amazing.
Absolutely, and that's why he's a crowd favorite.
And you don't get that. It almost is gone in the sport. A lot of people don't focus on corners.
It reminds me of an Oklahoma gymnast, Raymond White.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
Yes.
Raymond White. I will never forget watching Raymond crowd floor when I was super young. I was 12 or something. And the way he took the floor, I was like, what is this guy doing? And then he comes out and he goes triple double tuck and just stomps it. We're like, oh, okay. And I remember watching him. Great.
He had amazing tumbling, but the transitions were so fluid. He was like water. He just moved.
So did you say that Armadillos are leading the pack right now?
Yeah.
And we did have a fall on P-Bars, but it is 5 up, 4 count. So we need these next 4 guys to hit.
They don't have a safety at this point. They've got to hit.
If they want to continue to be in the lead, they need these guys.
And I mean, and the big thing to talk about is, Armadillos haven't gone to Pommel Horse yet. That's a big separator.
That's a game changer.
The fact that Huskies were holding on toward the top after going to Pommel Horse is a big one.
You got Washington Huskies on rings. Hitting stick. A little hot.
I think we need to see more sticks. I think this meet's going to come down to Pommel Horse and stuck dismounts.
Absolutely. That's what it looks like. Absolutely.
Now, Rocky Mountain is on High Bar right now, and I've actually done a lot of the content creating for our YouTube channel, and man, oh man, I can't tell you how many stuck High Bar dismount videos they sent me, and it's all raw meat with wings, so we're sitting there just going after it. So it's keep an eye there. I think Rocky Mountain's going to come up with some big scores right here.
Here goes with
big release.
Caught.
And Nick, like you were talking about earlier, you see that?
We see the
big mistake
arms,
over the top.
and arms over the top.
Yep.
That could be a 3/10 or a 1/10. I think that one was a 3/10.
All right, here we go. Coming into the dismount.
I love the dismount.
Laid out, full out. Big pop on the dismount.
We need to see more sticks.
And something else I think is really important to talk about the Texas Armadillos.
Talk about sticks. We see somebody on floor right here. Who do we have on floor?
Arizona's on floor right now.
Yep, Arizona's on floor. I can't quite tell which athlete it is. Beautiful stuck double full right there.
Yes, dismounts for everything.
So that adds a 10th bonus right there. So rather than going 2.5, he went double full, gets the stick, it's a C-value skill at the 10th. What I was going to say is, head coach of the Armadillos is Tom Meadows.
Yes.
Tom Meadows has received 90% of the coaches' awards, if not all the coaches' awards you could ever want or desire. So to me, I think he's creating a GMAC team to see if he can take that title also. So the
if you've ever met a competitive person, that's Tom Meadows. That guy loves winning more than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah, so I think he's making a play, and I think a lot of the GMAC coaches really, maybe, I don't know if they've counted him out, or maybe they just didn't quite see this coming, but I think the Armadillos are going to be real dangerous, especially if they can get a few more guys on the team and build a little bit of depth, because that's something, Carl, you and I have talked about. The Huskies and Arizona are so hard to hit because they just have the depth. They have one guy get hurt, they have 4 other guys that can come in and take that exact same score spot.
And the Armadillos, they're pretty new, right? The Armadillos have only been around for a couple
this is
years,
actually,
right?
it's only their first official season. So we're going to talk about that a little bit with the head coach of the Arizona program and president of GMAC, Scott Barkley, in a little bit. We're going to talk about how teams come to fruition, how they actually become full GMAC teams. They were a probationary team last year. Only saw them a couple of times, and now they're on the floor as a full-blown team. Ladies and gentlemen, please do us all a huge favor. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Help us out. Make sure you see all this amazing content as we bring it to you. Going crazy, I believe this is one of the DiGirolamo twins. Sorry, I'm tripping over his name. It's been a long weekend. Both Caden and his brother Ethan are on the Arizona team together, and they're actually on a lot of lineups together, and that's just got to be so amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, what are the odds that a pair of twins make it to this level in the same sport, and they're on the same team and they're traveling together?
You talk about twins, and we might see it happen, but on P-Bars right now is Dylan McConkey for the Armadillos, and he is also a twin. And his brother just started getting back gymnastics and is working very hard to possibly get back into
training in Arizona.
That would be super.
So one of the questions that I do want to ask is, us behind the table, we see the scores, we understand what's going on. Do the coaches out here, do the athletes know where they're at on the standing? Do they know if they're in first or?
They absolutely do. We've got 2 scoreboards running live in the venue. The one, unfortunately, is sitting behind, I believe, is our team scoreboard, and the one on the other side is actually going to be the individual, where they're standing on the event and the individual awards. So Carl and I were talking about earlier, we've got guys out here that are not only going for the team title, which is really in a competition like this, the only one that actually matters. And that is the name of the game.
And seeing those scores, how do you think it affects the athletes and the coaches?
And we were talking about this in Dallas a little bit ago. If you're the Armadillos, you're in the official season. Most of these guys are 18, 19 years old. They're on a completely different stage. College gymnastics is just a different world, right, Carl? You grew up competing in club, and then you come out here and you're part of a team, you're part of this environment, can get so loud and so crazy, and you've got to stay calm. And you've got to stay after it. So if you're the Armadillos and you just found out that you are winning Western Conference championships and you have the ability to take down some big dogs,
as a first year,
how do you keep that calm?
Let's see. So they have to hit these events right here. They had their first fall on P-Bars. They have to hit 4 right here.
I believe this is Sergey, correct?
Sergey, yes, sir.
And we saw him in the intro to all this. Fantastic competitor. Lots of big gymnastics.
Great human being, period.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, you see that a lot in gymnastics. A lot of these guys in the sport are great people.
And I think that's purely because, like, you kind of have to be to survive this sport. It's insane. Oh, that was a big hit on the Armadillos there. Big fall. He showed full support. The judges, there's no way. I don't see them taking only a 5/10 on that. I think it's going to take a full point.
Yeah, full support.
Unfortunate end to what was otherwise a beautiful routine.
Absolutely.
We have some beautiful artistry on floor right now. Is that Arizona's thing? Can they just show some artistry on floor?
They absolutely can.
I see it because I saw a beautiful windmill.
Wide arm press.
Yep, to a wide arm press right here.
And we've got SCU over on Pommel Horse, and SCU is one of those teams that have been around for a while, and they're another united team, so don't get to train together. But I noticed at Southwest Cup, they are building, and they're building fast. And they're one that's been counted out for a while. You know, they've been one of those teams that's kind of in the hunt, like we talked about. They didn't have the firepower to take down the top dogs in GymAct, but I would keep an eye on them. The next year or two, they're going to come in.
They're growing, they're out for blood. They went beautiful Maltese on rings.
And his senior captain, Brody Lusk.
Brody Lusk, very nice.
So, question, you said the cross does get a bonus on rings. Does the Maltese get a bonus on rings?
You know, I'm going to have to double check that to be sure. I know the cross does 100%. Actually, I have the basics right here. Let me pull them up. I will double check that right now.
This is a beautiful routine because it is It is known as a more difficult
Beautiful
strength movement.
straight
Yes.
body plunge.
This is a beautiful routine on rings.
He's a strong guy. You can tell from the arms. There's a big guy. He's
He's
strong.
very strong.
He's strong.
But again, we go back. You see a lot of very strong athletes on rings, and you watch the press handstand and they bend their elbows. Very big deduction on rings and bend elbows in the
How
press.
they handle the presses and how they handle the handstands. That's what separates the good gymnast and the great gymnast on rings. And unfortunately, he struggled a little bit there on the Giants to hold those hands up.
If you're gonna put the time and effort into these big skills, you gotta work your hands. You gotta make sure that you're not losing on the basic skills. And
On P-bars, we have Dallas Hell. You just talked to his father earlier in the last session. Armadillos are really going to need a beautiful piece
beautiful
to one
piece
bar,
to one
very good
bar,
fight.
Healy down.
Oh
Does
my
that
God.
get a
Amazing.
as well
I'm going to
too?
look past P-bars. Check out, we just missed some beautiful flare work from SCU.
That's
Flare to
good.
handstand right here. Here it comes.
Can he hit it?
Oh, he's traveling the flares. Look at this.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful too.
Wow.
There he
right
goes
up
with
the
a great
handstand.
dismount. And with the travel,
Wow, that's going to
And
help
a
SCU.
beautiful
Oh my
double front
God.
half step.
Amazing dismounts in one
wow,
move.
just got right there.
Wow. The other t-shirt
Guys,
Coach Ryan on floor. Check out this floor set right here from Arizona. This is Dynamite, comes in a small package.
Wow.
This guy's not very tall. He's only, I'm going to guess about 5'3" maybe, but oh my gosh, his tumbling is huge. I don't know if you guys on the live stream can hear it. Every time he hits the floor, I'm going to stop talking real quick. Listen real carefully. Every time he hits that floor, it's echoing through the whole building because he is just out there hitting it hard. Double full side pass to his stick.
Which is sometimes a dismount for most athletes.
Absolutely. He's taking it on the side, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he does for his dismount here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. We are 497 people subscribed to our YouTube channel. We want to bring more exciting men's gymnastics to you. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. We're hoping to be at 500 subscribers from the end of the, by the end of the night.
Oh.
And that was huge. Arizona just had a fall on a dismount on floor. That is so uncharacteristic. But guys, we're 2 weeks left in the season. How beat up are these guys? How tired are they right now?
Well, this is where it comes down to it. Everybody's goal as an athlete is to peak at the end of the season. So we're at Westerns, but we still have Nationals left, correct?
Correct.
So a lot of these guys aren't going to be competing at their peak ability. Their goal is to make sure that their peak ability is at Nationals. So the athlete that did just take a fall on floor, he is going to go back to the gym and iron out those little mistakes that he had today. It's not always a bad thing to have mistakes at this time in the year. Let's get to the end of the season, be perfect.
One of the things that I have seen though is just the level of everybody has gotten more intense as each event goes, and they're seeing these scores, they're seeing who's here, and these guys are putting in the work right now because they know, like, I came to win today. And it's awesome to see these guys out here and really killing
We have
it.
one more left on the Florida side. From Arizona State Gymnastics, Hunter Fleshy.
All right, Arizona, last guy up of the entire rotation. They just had a fall, like we talked about as a team. Right now, it's way too quiet in here. Arizona's got to get loud.
They got to get loud.
They've got to pump a whole bunch of effort into this last routine because they need it. Because right now they're counting a fall and they can't afford a point right now.
I want to say
Here we
Hunter
go.
Flushing might be a Region 3 athlete. I really recognize
I
that
believe
name.
Hunter.
I believe you are
I think he went to Cyprus. Maybe.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
I believe he's Tom Meadows' former athlete.
Maybe.
Cyprus. Huge Arabian double front,
Hunter
small
Flushing.
hop. And a floor, it all comes down to landings because, you're talking at least 5 passes.
Oh, he had a small stutter step in there.
Great
He
save.
still found
by
it,
the
yes.
handler. So, like we were talking about, you've got at least 5 landings. If you take a 1/10 step right there, it's a half a point difference. If you take an average of a 3/10 step, we're talking points. So these landings are so important. He's going to catch his breath here with a group 1. Again, if you want to learn more about how all these routines are built, hit that subscribe button. Keep an eye right here on the GymAct YouTube channel as we push more content out. We already have a floor scoring video and a pommel horse scoring video out. Comment, let us know what you want to see, what you like to see, what you need to know more about. We would love to provide it. The GymAct media team is here to serve the community. All right, here we go. We're coming into a dismount. I haven't heard the bell yet, so he's got to be under 75 seconds. He's got to be tired. Here we go. Big double full.
Oh, hand down. Is it a 5/10?
That is a 5/10 because they did not show support on that hand. Man, that's Arizona's going to have some.
All right, athletes, that does conclude that rotation.
And going into
athletes,
pommel,
please rotate
which is
to
one of
your
your
next
events that you
event.
need to stay on.
We are now moving into the 4th rotation. We're halfway done. Let's give it up for our amazing athletes here. Coaches, we want you to get to your event. I just need a thumbs up, so let me know when you get started.
All right, Kevin, so who's in the lead in this rotation?
All right, I'm double checking, making sure. I'm going to update my scoreboard one more time. All right, here we go. Live scores as they're coming in. Washington, this is where it gets fun. Check out these team scores. I'm going to say them slowly so everybody at home can check it out. While I do that, everyone at home, you're going to hit that subscribe button for me. First place after 3 rotations. We're at the turning point. Washington Huskies are on top, 156.15. Texas is in second place, the Armadillos, 156.1. 0.05 is separating first and second. Here we go. So second place, 156.1. Arizona still trailing in third place. I can tell you right now, Scott Martin, not happy with that. They're going to fight. 154.25. They've got some ground to make up. SC United, there's a big jump down here like we predicted, but I did not predict which 3 were going to be in this. Fourth place, 145.2. Rocky Mountain trailing on them, 143.5. With the Bay Area Bandits rounding out our top 6 at a 103.3. Now, the Bay Area Bandits is really important. They're talking about they are a full score down. They only have 3 athletes, so they don't have that 4th score to rely on. So, like we've seen, and Kansas City only has 2 scores, so they don't have enough athletes currently here to really fight for that team score, and that's why we're seeing them take those bigger risks. You know, they're not in it for the team score yet. They're trying to just get their name out there, and so far we've seen some great gymnastics from both those teams.
I mean, that just goes to show how quickly things can change. Because we had Armadillos leading, and now, you know, just in one event, you know, they can bump that quickly.
Absolutely. So as we head into this 4th rotation, I think one of the biggest things to talk about is, you know, as coaches, if you're Washington and you're on top, do you risk it and do you leave bigger difficulty in to try to extend that gap? Or do you run the risk and you change a dismount or you take something out of a routine that maybe an athlete's done at lunch? Can the athlete handle it? Can the athlete, you know, okay, coach wants me to take it down from a full twisting double tuck to just a double tuck. And if you're the Armadillos and you know you're trailing, same question. Carl, do you risk it or do you play it safe?
I know Croc well enough. I think he's a man who likes to have a plan and stick to it. So I think that they're going to go in to these next 3 rotations doing exactly what they train, exactly what they practice here already. I don't think they're going to do a whole bunch of course correcting now. They're going into vault, which is generally a higher scoring event for them as it is for most teams, right? And so I think that they're going to go into vault, potentially pick up their lead by a little bit here, if I could take a guess. And then we'll see how things look going into rotations 5 and 6.
Dakota, obviously, Texas Armadillos fans, if you're Tom Meadows, what do you do here? Do you leave your risk in, or do you start playing the game a little bit?
Known Tom for a long time. He trains what they compete, and they're going to keep everything that they train into it.
Awesome. Nick, what do you think?
As a coach, I mean, we train for this event, and I'm going to trust in my athletes, and I'm going to put into the system, train these routines, doing these routines for a reason. And I'm going to believe that they can get in here. So that's how I believe it.
Absolutely. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens as we head into rotation 4. Rotation 4, we've got Rocky Mountain on 4, so we're looking for them. Exit out, go check out that stream. Again, we have 7 streams running. You can see everything you need. Arizona's going to Palm Horse. This is going to be a game changer for them. SC United is coming to the Still Rings, which we're going to watch for that cross bonus. Vault is going to take on the Washington Huskies. Bay Area Bandits and Kansas City are on parallel bars, and the Armadillos are going to be chasing Washington from high bar.
And we haven't got to talk much about vault lately. Vault's a huge score. Less deductions, a very quick event. So if they can put it to their feet, that is going to be the difference in score.
And vault is one of those things that it's such a fun event to watch because it only takes an average of 6 seconds for your entire performance, and anything can happen. You know, big thing that happened at the Olympics 2 years ago. Jade Carey should have won vault. That's how she got herself to the Olympics. Gets to her Olympic performance. She had beat everybody in that final so many times. Shouldn't have been an issue. And she started her run for the first time in like 2 decades. You know, anything can happen. From unfortunately, as much as I don't want to talk about it, nobody wants to acknowledge it, I think vault is a high injury event. So it's one that, as a coach, like you said, you run your training plan, but I got to be honest, as a coach, if I'm going to pull something back, you know, by half a rotation, or I'm gonna scratch it and change it up, vault's the one, because
it makes a lot of sense. Because
so as Armadillo steps to high bar too, one thing that I do want to bring up is, you know, Arizona's going to Palm Horse, but one thing that you have to bring into consideration is Armadillos might not have. I think there's a couple athletes that don't have a flight element. They don't have a release move, so now they're starting at a 5/10 lower start value than all these other teams. And so that could play into it, because now their start value is going to be a little bit lower, their scores are going to be a little bit lower, and if they're not hitting, I mean, that's just going to take them down. So anything can happen at this point.
The tides can turn fast. It all depends on which, you know, how do individual teams have stronger and weaker events? You know, how does that come into play during the course of a competition? You know, you can see a team up by 3 to 4 points, and if they have that one event, that could bring them right down in line with their competition or lower.
Absolutely, it's 6 events. You know, it's not over till it's over.
As I said something about Armadillo's release moves, their flight elements, we had 2 beautiful flight elements caught by the Armadillos on high bar right now.
Arizona just hit their Palmer team, and it was a beautiful set. So let's see if they can keep it rolling to the end of that rotation.
And these guys are in it.
Oh, no, the Dillos. And he comes off the bar. So this is one I love to talk about. If you're on high bar, and we're going to keep talking about the Armadillos here, just because I can't believe they're on the board where they're in. So he went for his M-bar element. It's one of our element groups. You got to do it, and you've got to hit your handstand. If you're outside of 15 degrees from handstand, it turns into a 3/10 deduction. He went for the handstand. He arched out. He swings back the other way. He's at 5/10 right there. So do you kick back over the bar and continue the giant, risking the mental aspect of being able to emotionally handle it, or do you take the extra 5/10, come off the bar, acknowledge your coach, you have 30 seconds to remount and build a plan? What do you think, guys?
So, like the way that he did come off the bar, he does get credit for that skill. Had it been in a front giant position and you do not go over the bar, you do not get credit. So he got credit for the skill. I would say that you take the fall, you take the point, because, you know, as you swing back, you're going to get multiple deductions, elbow bends by re-gripping, you get all these different deductions. I think the safe way to go is maybe just take the fall.
So going to this rotation, who was in first place? It was Rocky
Washington.
Washington, okay.
By a hair.
All right, and they're on ball right now, so. But like we said earlier,
Andrew Lehman here is going to put up a
Washington going into ball. And he just stuck his landing on ball.
Was that really a stick?
It was really a stick on ball.
Wow.
Huge stick.
Laid out.
And there goes the energy.
And, you know,
this is where Washington, I think, is going to start picking up momentum.
These guys are pumped.
And you know, I think the Arizona guys, this is a position they're not used to being in.
Arizona has a lot of pressure on them right now. They're leaving one of their strongest events with a couple of mistakes, and now they're working on pommels, which is historically the event that can throw the most teams off track, you know? So they're in a unique position right now where they've really got to keep it bunkered down and hit well.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think one of the important things to talk about is if you're Arizona, no matter how long you've been part of that program, you know, I was 2014 to 2018. They're just, unless you're taking on a different team, we weren't used to not seeing our name at the top of the scoreboard.
Right.
So when you see that, you've got to control the emotion, that anger, that frustration. No, we're better than this. And you know, if you're Hunter Barnett right now, I love Hunter's pommel horse from Arizona. He has such a nice swing. Yes, he is. And I am a big fan of Hunter's gymnastics because he shows mastery over what he's doing. It's not bobbled. It is calm and it's consistent. It's got this great extension, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he handles the emotional aspect of it, because I believe personally that that's something that's not talked about in men's gymnastics nearly enough, is the emotion that runs through these guys. This is a very, very high pressure, high risk, high reward, high commitment level sport. These guys have so much of their lives in what they're doing here, and that emotion, as much as you men were taught not to really acknowledge that, is going to be as we watch SoCal right in front of us just stomp a beautiful tuck.
We have not seen a lot of sticks today, so
there was Dylan McConkey stuck his high bar, double back off of that, but
here goes the Palmer team we were just talking about.
So Hunter's doing a great job here. He is swinging a little slow. Rocky Mountain's on floor, taking a big hop, doing well. Hunter's got to pick it up. His team's bringing the energy for him. Oh, no.
That's the hard part about Pommel is once you get off a little bit, it's very hard to come back.
Pommel is an event that can turn on a dime.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And how do you feel Arizona's feeling right now at this moment? Can they come back? Can they make it happen?
You know, I have been part of some big comebacks from Arizona. Carl, you're going to remember this one.
2016, 2017,
2015.
That long ago?
We had a guy go down. We got a guy go down in warm up. We had a teammate, unfortunately, have a catastrophic injury at national championships during time warm up. And I don't mind telling you, it put me in tears. You watch a teammate go down the way we did. It was our final warm up. We had to pull a guy out of the stands. Wasn't supposed to compete high bar. He got 2 minutes to warm up in front of everybody. The gym was so quiet. It was painful. He took one turn, like, hey, you need another one? He's like, no, I got this. It was like, no, dude, take another turn. He's like, no, I got this. And we went back into the warm-up gym, and we're all sitting there. We're watching EMS, Emergency Medical Services, coming to get our teammate, and we're just like, what do we do? And I will never forget, Zach Mold, our team captain, goes, guys, it sucks, but it's over. He's got the attention he needs. Let's go win the national title. And as he rolls back through the warm-up gym, we get him taken care of. We start chanting, ASG, 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 and then all of a sudden we look over, and the Huskies are doing it, and Air Force is doing it, and the whole gym, I'm gonna cry. It was the coolest thing. This is what I love about men's gymnastics. We all want to see our different things. We're all competitive in different ways. Tom Meadows, you mentioned, are one of the most competitive guys on the planet, but he's also the first to shake someone's hand if he's not the guy that wins, or congratulate a team that's coming up, or head coach Scott Barclay and the president of Jim Act is going to be one of those guys that all they want to see is every guy in this community do what they came here to do.
That's the thing. We talk a lot about team chemistry, but that's community chemistry. And that's the thing is these guys are competing out here today, but they all have love for each other. They've grown up together. They've seen their struggles, and it's great to see your competitors succeed sometimes because you're like, I got to see this guy struggle, but now he's doing this. It's an amazing.
Gymnastics is it's an amazing. It's a more tight-knit community.
Very cool skill coming up on high bars, Luke, and you're going to see a full twisting release on the bar.
This will be exciting. And if I'm not wrong, this is Mr. Hale again, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Hale. And I also want to check out on Pommel. You have Clayton Cunningham. They just took a fall earlier, so let's see what Arizona can do with this routine.
All right, Texas and Arizona. Let's see what we got. Zuliman on high bar. Clayton's through his scissor work sequence into his traveling elements. On Pommel horse for Arizona, piked up a little bit.
He's fighting
hard. Here we go, big release for the Armadillos. Oh no! That is a big release move named after the famous Larry Lukin. Clayton coming in strong.
Good dismount. Beautiful Arizona routine.
Very, very nice from Arizona.
That fall's going to take Armadillos back a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, again, another thing to talk about. Nick, you were talking about earlier, credit versus no credit. He does not receive credit for doing that skill. As far as the judges are concerned, it didn't happen. He receives a 1-point deduction for the fall. He's now missing, if I'm not wrong, a Luke, and I believe it's an F value skill.
But I do think he has some more release moves in his back, so I think he's still going to fulfill.
He's down 1.6 right now. So does he go back
the element group?
Let's see what he does right here, Mr. Hale.
There it is.
Beautiful stretch to caution. Smart choice, doesn't repeat it. But man, the mental and emotional side trying to come back right now is so hard.
Yeah, I've been in that situation a couple of times where having to get back up on the equipment after a fall like that, it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to refocus yourself and kind of keep your composure.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to let a routine spiral out.
That was Dallas Hale on the high bar.
So all things considered, I think that was a very good
on the pommel horse from Arizona State Gymnastics, Hunter Fleshy.
See what Hunter Flushing's got for Arizona. They need another big hit here.
Above the bar. Am I right with that?
Flushing strong.
I'm gonna have to confirm that later.
Up. Nice dismount, Arizona.
Beautiful.
That's what's going on right there. This is looking great.
They're on fire right now, and that's what's amazing about team competition.
So as you said earlier, like being in that position of taking a fall, how do you recover from it?
It comes down to the gymnast, do they have the mental fortitude to be able to gather themselves after that, Physically, generally speaking, it's not that hard. It comes down to, because gymnastics is a mental sport, almost more so than physical situations, So for that, it's can you get yourself to regain composure, get to that suck it up, it happened, you need to move on point,
Well, I have a question. How many times have you been shooken up after missing a release move and having to get up and repeat or compete a routine?
I competed at Yamawaki. That's a hard one to miss, but I've done it several times on other skills. I've been there once coming out of a jam, and another time on a Zulaman. I did a discount on a Zulaman. And at that point, you know, it's a skill that you're so confident in. It's like, I can't believe I just missed that. Your confidence is shattered, you know? So for me, that was one of the hardest things for me to do, was kind of regain my confidence. And the 2 times where I've been in that situation, I did not finish very well. You know, I was shooken for the rest of that routine. So that was part where mentally, you know, I probably wasn't very well prepared for that.
Right.
Big routine right here on rings.
Let's
I'm
go.
not wrong. We're going to see some real big strength moves right here from SC United.
Mendelson. Oh,
Nice Azarian cross.
Azarian cross.
Azarian, one of the most iconic skills on the steel rings.
Named after the favorite famous
That is a huge skill. That is
Is that the first inverted cross we've seen? Swing to inverted
That's
cross?
absolutely the first one.
And look at the hip extension on that flange, too.
Looking fantastic. Oh no, big check there, but he doesn't come off. So definitely occurred some deduction, but that mental fight that we've been talking about all night is so important. He's got to fight it for his team. I will say, SCU's a little quiet right now. You know, and Carlo, I would love for you to jump in on this, but as a competitor, right now, I loved when my
This
team
is where
got
I want to be.
super
I want to
loud.
be deaf.
Absolutely.
Because my teammates are screaming so loud for me.
Yes.
That was
That's the one that pulls you through mentally. Last couple skills on the routine, absolutely
please
exhausting.
rotate to
That's
your
what I was
fifth
putting.
event. Once again, coaches and athletes, please rotate to your fifth event.
We are headed to 5 events, and we'll give a score update here in just a second. Let's make sure all the scores are coming.
Remember, parents and
I'm excited to see who's in the lead right now.
I honestly have no idea because we're sitting behind the scoreboard.
Check it out. It's a free
I'm
service.
going to say I think Washington's
If I had to make a prediction, I would guess that Washington probably gained their lead.
I think Washington took a big jump there.
So you guys would all be correct.
YouTube page.
Right now, and while we're going to talk about this, everyone at home, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, our goal is to be at 500 subscribers by tonight. We are so close. Thank you all so much for the support. I do want to shout out our incredible live stream host right now, sweetstreams.com. Check them out. If you guys are hosting a competition, you know your gym's hosting a competition and is looking for a streaming service, reach out to
Coaches, once you're
Zach
in
and
event,
his
just give me
crew
the
are
thumbs up and
absolutely
let me know you're
incredible.
ready.
And can't say thank you enough for everything he's doing right now to help men's gymnastics. And that's really what GymAct's about right now, is just helping grow college gymnastics and helping present it to the fans. So again, keep it locked right here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and help us out right here, get you all the content you need. All right, score updates. I'm gonna trust right now this here. All right, we're starting in 6th place, Bay Area Bandits, 125.5. Solid team score from a young team so far in 4 rotations in.
That's great.
Bringing up 5th place, SCU. SCU is down in 5th place. They had a tough ring rotation there. And I'm going to double check. It does look like all their scores are, not all their scores are in from rings. I apologize. We're going to wait. We're going to make sure the scoreboard updates before I continue on this update. I don't want to get anybody confused on where we're at. So we'll swing back around here in just a second to double check on those scores.
I actually wanted to ask you, because we touched base on how his gymnastics on high bar. Kevin, what was your events when you were competing for Arizona?
So what's funny, I always tell people I was never good at the sport. I was just too dumb to quit, and that's 100% true. You know, I grew up in a small town in western Colorado, did not have the exposure to men's gymnastics. Most of my career, the coaches I had either no knowledge of men's gymnastics at all, or they were women's coaches.
Coaches, you may now begin your 2-minute touch. Coaches, you may now begin
ended
your
up in Texas
2-minute touch
actually for a little while.
in the 5th rotation here at the inaugural 2023 Western Conference Championship.
So I came out to Arizona actually as a 23-year-old freshman. I decided to take my shot at college gymnastics at 23. I only got to compete a couple of times because, as Carl was saying, Arizona's just got depth. I believe there are 56 guys in the Arizona program right now. That is massive. That is huge. And trying to find a spot, you know, unfortunately I wasn't able to, but I mostly trained floor and vault. I trained high bar because I love high bar. High bar is so much fun.
It's an easy event to fall in love with.
It's so terrifying.
I'm going to say it's an easy event.
So much fun.
Very not an easy event.
Unfortunately, I never got to compete in it. One of my greatest achievements is I did end up receiving credit for an Iron Cross. I chased after it for better than a decade. And my senior year, I got to compete rings.
And you're taller, right?
I am a very tall athlete, and actually, I'm right at 6 feet, but my wingspan is actually 6'4".
Oh my God!
So I am not built for iron crosses. Let alone the sport.
And I mean, just the difficulty it took you to get there. That's why they're giving that bonus on rings.
That's it right there.
You know, it is a hard skill to get to. It takes commitment. It takes long-term, like, training it day in, day out.
So we're going to update our scoreboard here one more time. Let's see where we're sitting. We're still definitely missing some scores. So we'll circle back around to it. Yep.
Now, could we potentially be in a situation where maybe we don't have a full lineup? Are they maybe dealing with some injuries somewhere where they're not getting a full lineup?
You know, that is possible, but the scores we're looking at are SoCal United, and we watched 5 solid routines up there. So we're going to sit back for just 1 second and double check it. You know, we're watching Arizona warm up. We're actually set up. If you're watching the main stream right now and we're on that 6-camera view, trying to see a little bit of everything. We're actually posted up right behind the ring tower right now, and we're watching this team warm up, and it's very interesting. Arizona is
concluded your 2-minute time. The 2-minute time has now concluded.
I think it's now time for competition. Right here on rings because they know where they're at, and they're not okay with it.
And is that Eden or Caven?
I don't know. They're identical.
As we said that they were focused on
So those two were actually seniors in high school at Technique. I didn't train them. Sean was coaching at the time, but
on the steel ring, Arizona State.
I will say, in that warm-up, I did see some very good gymnastics. Long elbow handstands.
On the ball from
Greatness.
United, Alexander Klipnik.
All right, we are headed into the
The
next
parallel
rotation.
bars from Washington Huskies, Everett O'Donnell.
Moving on to rotation 5. On 4, we have the Texas Armadillos looking to make up some ground. On pommel horse, Rocky Mountain is going out on it. On rings, Arizona's going to try to pick up some points right here. SCU takes the vault, and Washington is going to go to parallel bars, and they are historically strong on P-bars with Bay Area and Kansas City taking on P-bars.
Washington starting out with a mount we don't see too often. Wide kick, the pike press. On the one
big
rail.
mistake from Arizona.
Great routine too. He did everything he needed to just find the landing. That's going to cost Arizona. Then, like, here he comes. They need 4 for 4 after this. We're going to need everybody else to hit here.
And that was a clean, stuck front full dismount on P-bars. Washington seems like they're definitely picking it up on these last few
Next
rounds.
up on the steel ring,
They've looked very consistent all the way through.
Hunter Fleshy.
Before new scores start coming in, we're gonna update scores online. If you're looking for live scoring, it is all on Meet Scores Online. I'm still only showing 1 score on rings, so we'll see. I'm not sure what's happening with my scoreboard. We'll give you guys a score up, guys. In just a second.
Next up on the high bar from the Bay Area Bandits, Andrew Kurtzner.
I'm excited to see what Arizona has up next. Like we said, we got to hit 4 for 4 now. These guys want to come
Next
back.
up on the floor to
This
side from
routine's
the
going to
Armadillos,
count just as much
Dylan
as the next
McConkey.
one. This guy needing to hit, and this is the man to do it. Let's.
Absolutely.
Their one touches look solid.
So real quick, we've been talking about it a little bit. We got a little low. I do want to watch the Bay Area Bandits right here.
High bar?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see what they're up to. You know, full the release element with only a B value, whereas we've seen some bigger values there. Goes to
Absolutely went for the angle on
But
that
that's why he
healing.
didn't take. Oh, he didn't take the fall at first.
Tried to fight it back, and that honestly, that's one of the things I love about Jim. I think when you get to the really, really high levels, the top of D1, and obviously international, they're so quick. They're so quick to give up on a rough routine, whereas in Gym Act, these guys have so much heart in it. Most of these teams fundraise themselves by helping set up and tear down different meets. And you get paid to do that to help pay for uniforms and whatnot. So I personally believe you see a level of fight that is just unbelievable from the Gym Act athletes because they're a little more involved. And ladies and gentlemen at home, I apologize. We are going to end up having our microphones muted a little bit from the Arizona team. They're right next to us. When they get too loud, they're going to end up muting us. We'll keep an eye on it.
Routine on rings. That's what they needed right there. They needed a hit, and they got it.
Absolutely. Washington taken to the parallel bars. But like we were talking about, Bay Area, here he goes. He's back on the bar. Coming in, big dismount. Big double tuck. and that
yes.
stick,
Amazing.
and that's a B value dismount, so he jumps up 1/10 right there. It's fantastic to see.
Next up on the steel rings from Arizona State Gymnastics, Ian Myers.
We're watching Trevor Ruggieri up here on P-bars for the Washington. Trevor's a tall guy. He's like you guys, so you're going to see probably no underbar elements from this guy. All support and upper arm.
So I believe he mounted with the kick, so it does fulfill his first element group there.
Good fight.
Rough dismount.
Big stumble back, but he stayed on his feet. Going big from Texas on floor. Front double full.
So, do they get a deduction if they run off the landing mats on parallel bars? Because I know floor, if you run off, you get some kind of deduction, or vault.
I don't believe there's an out of bounds for P-bar matting.
There is not an out of bounds. However, when you step back like that, you're coming downhill off the surface. It's normally going to cause another step, and each step is a deduction. So you've got to minimize it. And one of the big things is when you're on a slight convention center floor and you step back and you got socks on, it's tough to minimize those deductions. And that's a big one. When you run into something like that, your only goal, you've taken the deduction. It's how little of a deduction can I take once I've taken the big one.
You're seeing a lot of great straight arm elements on rings by Myers right now.
There's that locker arm press that we were talking about earlier. So nice. And the impression it gives the judges is huge. The rings are free of the shoulders, which is a deduction on rings.
All he has to do is put it down.
And Arizona was quiet and warm up. They're not quiet
put it down.
There it is.
Another beautiful
routine. Beautiful routine.
Kansas City on high bar coming in for a dismount right here. Let's see what he's got. Big double leg. Small step, but that's that 110. You know, you fight too hard for a stick, and you're
looks like he had it too. Looks like he had it.
Washington Huskies on parallel bars.
So this is Xander Agate. He is one of the 3 Huskies competing for the all-around. And Xander, his style of gymnastics always reminds me a lot of and just in the kinds of skills that he does and how he does them. He reminds me a lot of myself.
Crazy, because you went for some big skills.
Next up on the steel rings,
we winded up for a double front dismount here.
Hunter Burnett.
Good fight.
Big stumble forward.
So that'll be essentially the same as a fault.
Yeah, when you stumble far enough that you've occurred a full point, then they just stop taking deductions, and it's the same as a fall. But you did see him fight, and that's what we were talking about earlier.
And I know we never got the scores, but I do feel like they were leading going in this. But that was 2 dismounts in a row. We were taking over a point in deductions on the dismount just in steps. So I'm curious to see who's in the lead now.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a close call.
I've seen P-bars go both ways for Washington. They can hit it really good, and they can also kind of fall apart a little bit.
All right, let's see if Arizona can keep up this ring.
On the parallel bars from Washington Huskies.
Set last by Myers. See if Burnett can do it.
Hunter Burnett, we talked about him earlier. Very nice clean gymnastics. That kip test L brings that swing to strength element he needs. Getting into his swing elements. These are called Yamakis in a tuck and piked position. Holding that strength move. And I get a hard time for this, but I love this good out hold. It's the most basic position.
Yeah, but it's very hard to do perfect.
There's a big difference in how they present their gymnastics, and that L seat is a big one.
This routine is looking strong.
Fighting hard.
He left the giant a little bit behind the rings there. He's fighting that arch.
And this is so hard. You get bobbled up there, and you have to stay calm, and he's got to find this dismount. Oh, no. Full and a half twisting double tuck, and just sets it down.
Which is a blind landing, which is usually harder to land for most athletes.
Absolutely, and that's what jumps it from the C value up to the D. And
but you're also risking.
You know, and this is what we're talking about earlier, is Arizona's left a lot of risk in, and tonight hasn't paid out for big, but there's a lot of gymnastics left. Arizona does also finish the night on vault, and that's a game changer. As Carl was saying earlier, vault is a rotation where vault and pommels really, it's hard to tell what guys are on the scoreboard if they haven't gone to vault or they haven't gone to pommels. Pommels is normally lower scoring. Vault is probably the easiest place to build difficulty because it's only essentially one skill, whereas everything else is 8 skills. So you really got to focus in on one thing to build difficulty.
Ethan Girolamo.
That's one of the things we saw there too. He added the half twist, higher the difficulty, but putting it at the end of the routine, it's tough, especially when you're putting strength elements and stuff like that in your routine. It's definitely really harder.
Nice double back from Washington as we're looking down here. Oh, Rocky Mountain taking another fall on Pommel Horse. Rocky Mountain started really strong, and they're doing the same thing as Arizona. They're having a hard time getting through this. And Ethan Reese from Arizona. This is a great routine. And coming up right here, he's got some really, really interesting gymnastics. Right here, we're going to see a very interesting skill that you don't see very often. It's called a keki, front uprise, forward roll out, back uprise, back up cross, and you see him taking advantage.
Amazing.
With the cross. Very, very nice. 2 crosses. He decided to point to a start value right there.
That is a skill that you don't see very often. But he did that beautifully.
He's got it right here.
Great press.
Up in that press. He's got to stay calm in his handstand. Even if it's not great, he's got to remain calm to be able to find this right here. Right to handstand. Checks the move with straps there. Medium direction there.
Put it down.
Coming in for a dismount.
Feet.
There you go.
And we got one turkey. Awesome.
Uncharacteristic steps from Arizona. They have been sticking
Coming up
like
next
crazy.
on the parallel bars.
We did say at the beginning that it was going to be a Pommel routines and stuff landings.
Yep.
I'm so interested to see who
I'm excited to see it.
Representing Rocky Mountain, Gavin Rowe.
The Armadillo is bringing in that Fedorchenko, a triple Russian that's 1,080 degrees of rotation on their hand. It's part of that non-acrobatic tumbling group. If you want to know more about how floor routines are built, again, hit that subscribe button to the GymAct YouTube channel. We're putting out content to help you guys understand this incredible sport. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get on the comments, let us know what we can do to help you show off these incredible athletes. That's what GymAct is here to do. Rotation 5's winding down a little bit. We've got Huskies on the parallel bars. Very nice Seymour support. Nice line work here.
Help.
Very nice. A little crooked on that, but stayed calm, stayed confident. And that's a big thing when these routines get a little wonky like that. Can these guys stay calm?
And a great
Nice dismount from Bobby Strong.
That's what they needed right there.
That was gorgeous. So far, we've seen so much great gymnastics, and what's crazy is, you know, I've been part of GymAct kind of since the beginning, or not even really part of it, but just in small pieces helping out since 2018, since it became a full-blown organization. And it's been so crazy to watch how fast it's grown and how fast it not only has grown, but the skill level is coming up like crazy. Like we talked about earlier, SCU was one of the, you know, it was really, when GymAct was formed, it was really Washington and Arizona. Then SCU jumped in real quick. They were actually already there, but they were kind of this not super deep team. They were kind of this offhand model from Heinz Schumacher that no one had really done before, and they took a little while to build. In the last couple of years, it is just building and building and building, and it's getting crazy. And we're seeing national team level athletes joining in on GymAct. And we're seeing skills being invented, Carl. Yeah, I mean, just what's happening in GymAct is so exciting.
That's exactly right. I mean,
a lot's happened in the past couple of years to break the stigma that club gymnastics is something to be, you know, isn't something to take serious.
Athletes, that does finish that rotation. It is now time to move to your 6th and final rotation here at the 2023 GymAct Western Conference Championship. Let's hear for these athletes right now. Come on, everybody. They are
Going to last rotation. How much energy do you have? Are you tired?
Amazing athletes. Come on.
I am looking through scores. It does appear my scoreboard has caught up. And here's where it gets interesting. Starting in 6th, Bay Area Bandits picks up to a 158.3, only counting 3 scores. That is awesome.
Awesome.
Moving up to 5th place. In 5th, we've got Rocky Mountain bringing it up at 237.3. Man, Rocky Mountain has built like crazy, and at least at Southwest Junior Cup, the last big streaming event we did, they threw down on rings, so keep an eye on them. SoCal United, or SCU, 249.65, decent gap there, but not enough. They can give it up, especially as they go to P-bars. Texas comes in 3rd place at a 252.35. Washington coming in 2nd at a 258.7. And Arizona jumps into 1st place at a 259.9. Wow, Arizona fighting back. So, Carl, you and I are going to be joined by President of GymAct, Head Coach of the Arizona program, and the legend himself, Mr. Scott Barclay. Coach, it's hard to call you by first name because I just know you as Coach, so I'm going to call you Coach. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. You're here, Western Conference Championships, only the second year we've done this, and we're actually working on sending this out into the venue so the people here in the arena can also hear us. Let's talk about GymAct as a whole. I don't want to talk about Arizona right now. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about GymAct as a whole. Both Carl and I graduated in 2018. Carl, you were 2018. 2018. GymAct started right behind it. What sparked the change?
The change in having GymAct?
Are you ready?
Well, I think it was just more of a camaraderie thing. Are we okay?
P-Bars, are you ready?
More of a camaraderie thing because we had been doing this, myself and Mark Russo with Washington. We met every year, probably for 20 years, but we just didn't have the impact of the numbers behind us. And all of a sudden we got a couple more teams that were interested, and then we said, well, it can't just be a couple teams, it's got to be, let's get organized. And there was a couple main impetuses, if USAG we hadn't pulled through and NCAA didn't pull through, then we had to have something we could say we could have a national championship of our own. And when we decided to do that, we thought, well, let's get organized.
Let's give these a huge round of applause. The sixth and final rotation. Let's hear it for our fans.
You're busy, another rotation to do. But what's the future of GymAct? How big can this thing actually go? I mean, in 2018 it started with 3 teams, right? Washington, Arizona, and SoCal.
Well, basically there were 6 teams. There was SoCal, there was also New York Alliance and Temple. They were involved too.
Okay.
So there's 6 teams that were really kicking it in at that time. I think Illinois and Chicago was also. But yeah, we've gone from 6 to 14. Who knows how far it can go. It just depends on, getting people that really help, like you guys are helping, and getting the word out and getting some sponsorship. We're really looking hard now getting sponsorship for GymAct and help this thing grow, because that's the biggest thing is just don't have the money to make it happen.
So, one other thing I want to talk to you about is how does a new GymAct team form? We see KCU, Bay Area Bandits, and Texas Armadillos, all probationary teams last year. They're joining us full teams this year. Is there a full application process? How does somebody become a GymAct?
Exactly. It starts with the heart of a coach. Somebody that has the heart of a coach that wants to build a team. And once that happens, then we have an application process through GymAct, and as it goes through that, we make sure it has all the legs and feet and bells and whistles we need to see it happening. We want it to be successful. We don't want to just come out and not have it the next year. So I think they got a good job. The coaches that have put this together have worked really hard at doing that.
We're going to switch gears real quick. I know you got to get over to Vault, but let's talk Arizona. Now we're going to switch gears. We're not going to talk GymAct. Let's talk head coach, Arizona. You guys had a tough start, it looked like. I mean, at the turn, at 3 events, you were down in 3rd place. You were getting beat by brand new teams. What we were talking about over here is how do you spin as a team that's so used to being on top? How do you spin? How do you work to pull it out? Right now, you guys are back on top. There's not a very big lead here. Your team's got a really good pull through on this last time. As a head coach, how do you rebuild from that?
Well, one thing you do, you got to settle the guys down. They know this is a big event. It is the first time to have a championship, conference championship meet ever like this, and so they know it's a big thing. It's a big weight on their shoulders. They lost their conference last year to Iowa, so you got to settle them down first. Once they're settled and they know, they got to put it behind them. Got to put whatever that was. It doesn't matter. Can't change it. So we look forward ahead and do that.
And head coach of former NorCal United, John Lucas just jumps in. That was your 6th founding team.
Arizona State Gymnastics.
That's right.
Coach, thank you so much for taking time. Good luck on Vault. I'm excited to see you.
Great meeting. Good competition. GymAct competition is getting better and better. That's the cool thing.
Absolutely. That's what we've been talking about all day. We've got
Thanks,
good luck, Coach. All right, Nick and Dakota are going to jump back in with us for the 6th and final rotation. Real quick, before we do that, we have Bay Area Bandits and KCU on floor. We've got Texas taking a pommel horse, and that's going to be a defining moment for them. We've got SoCal on P-bars, Rocky Mountain going to rings. High bar is going to be the Huskies, and that's going to be interesting to watch. And then Arizona is going to Vault. And one of the interesting things I want to say right now is Vault is really interesting because it's fast. You get your meet done, and then you got to just sit and watch and pray and hope and hold it together as a team. But you did enough that somebody can't catch you. Dakota.
Something I got to watch before I sat down was Arizona just stuck a cause 1.5. full and a half twist, stuck on
Next
ball.
up on the wall, representing Arizona
So
State Gymnastics,
Arizona's an amazing start on ball
Fletching.
and being in the lead.
Absolutely, 2 vaulters from Arizona you're going to watch out for. Is the Yurchenko entry from Jackson Harrison, guy we watched early on floor, super artistic, really powerful, incredible athlete.
Coming up next on the
Another guy to watch out for is senior team captain Vinny Felicio. 3 straight years at his inner squad, he has stuck his Acopian. 2.5 twists. He's really well known for it. I hope he didn't just drink some. I want to see him stick that because the roof will come off the Galveston Convention Center right here.
Amazing.
All right, so let's kick back. Let's enjoy 6 final rotations right here.
It starts off with a beautiful step with the So it's funny you brought up what an interesting is finishing on vault, being done first and having to sit back and just kind of watch. I remember one meet, Sun Devil Classic one year. It came down to exactly that, Washington on vault, and it came down to the very last routine from ASU, and I remember how dead it was. We were all just sitting and waiting, watching for that one last score to come in, because it was this close all the way through, and you guys bumped us out by maybe a point.
We've actually been
It's
a part of
amazing.
our program has gone to the Sun Devil Classic. It was an amazing competition. I would highly suggest it to any JO program out in the country to go visit. Very well-run meet.
Absolutely, and head coach of the Arizona program, Scott, we just talked to him. He runs such a great competition, and I believe it too. The Sun Devil Classic has been around for decades, and 100% of the proceeds of that meet go to the Arizona program. It does a lot for that program. The other really cool thing that is happening is a lot of the AAI dealers, AAI's equipment used on the floor here today, used in most competitions around the country. They're great equipment manufacturer based out of Jefferson, Iowa. From the factory. It's really funny. You're driving through and all of a sudden you see a sign that says AAI Spalding, and all of Spalding and AAI's equipment is hand manufactured in Jefferson, Iowa by a handful of people. It's super cool. But a lot of them, they use a dealer network, and a lot of the dealers are starting to go, you know what, we can help these guys out, they can help us out. These guys are highly motivated, they're very disciplined individuals, so they help out the dealers by going and doing setups and teardowns for meets just like this, and then they make a donation to the team based off of that. So it's like Carl was saying earlier, the gymnastics community is just so incredible about helping each other out, because at the end of the day, we just want to see potential. We want to see more guys on the floor. The fact that Arizona has 50 plus guys on their team means that there's a want, there's a need, there's a desire for this, and we're seeing it here tonight. These guys are here and they're fighting hard.
Absolutely. It's great to see these guys. I mean, like you said earlier, we have national team members out here competing. This is what this has come to. It's a high level of gymnastics. I've seen skills out here today that EF school values.
And there's skills you would be seeing at the Olympic Games, honestly. Absolutely. The best way I describe this is, if you watch a World Cup or World Championships or the Olympics, you're going to see 10 extremely high-level skills. In these routines, there are only 8 skills instead of 10, like the senior elites. And you're going to see 2 to 4 of those skills, and then you're going to fill the rest of the 4 with a little bit lesser value. That's the only difference, is that the skill level is there. It's just not quite as deep. That's all. And these guys fight for every 10th. This is an exciting competition. There's so many things that I couldn't have predicted.
Arizona State Gymnastics.
Well, I will say I just watched Bay Area compete their last high bar routine. He hit and stuck his dismount, and now this routine for Bay Area is looking very good. If he can put this to his feet, it's gonna be a great routine.
Washington from Rocky Mountain, Dyson Adset.
Ooh, big stumble from Washington on high bar.
Oh, Washington.
Bay Area finishes up on 4.
So Washington in the last 2 events has been struggling a lot on their landings. I think they've given up probably about this point 4 to 5 points just in landings alone between P-bars and high bar. So you were discussing earlier about how ASU is probably in a situation where they weren't used to, where they were kind of sitting not at the top of the leaderboard and looking up and figuring out how to handle that. Washington was kind of in the opposite situation, We've always been used to being the free place below, looking up, and having that sort of drive us. Seeing how they handle being in the lead, if they can keep their composure or not, has been interesting.
And so one question I want to ask is, both of you guys are college gymnasts too, is like, how do you feel, ending on your favorite event versus ending on your toughest events? Where does it play in, like, are you more motivated on tougher events? Are you nervous?
Carl?
So Washington always had a big we had the attitude of being the underdogs, and so being in a situation that wasn't ideal for us was kind of an opportunity for us to kind of grit our teeth and grind through it. So really, there were I can recall a couple of times where we'd done on pommels or something, and I think our attitudes were probably more aggressive then than they would be on our strong events. I think as a team, that's where we kind of thrive, is where we're facing adversity.
And that is such a beautiful routine. The whole time you were talking, Carl, I agree with you 100%, but I was mesmerized by Rocky Mountain Mavericks right there. And this is what we're talking about. The difficulty in that routine wasn't incredibly high, but it was so beautiful to watch because it was just so nice. I don't know what the judges are writing about over there. I mean, he just didn't give anything up. There were no mistakes in that routine, ending with a great stick. Rocky Mountain is another team. I don't think there's a team on the floor that isn't going to be worth watching. And, I think the biggest thing is, ladies and gentlemen, help us out. We just hit 500 subscribers.
That's awesome.
That is a fantastic benchmark. This is telling us that men's college gymnastics is alive and well here. Keep hitting that subscribe. Share all this on all your social media. Let's get this amazing sport out there. That's the reason all four of us are here, right? No one's getting paid. Zach over here from sweetstreams.com has all of his streaming gear here. I mean, we're sitting here. It's tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment that he has donated because all of us want the same thing. These guys are unbelievable on every level for different reasons, and we just all we want to see is this continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, 500 subscribers. Thank you so much. Share it with your friends. Share it with your clubs. Share it with your teammates, and let's keep blowing this thing up. Let's go back. I just read a very interesting statistic. In 1969, there were 234 college programs. 234. I got a challenge. You ready for this? I'm going to call it. 2039, we're back to 264.
That'd be awesome.
Let's do it. We've got 500 subscribers on YouTube. Everybody share this stream. Post it. Love on it. These guys are out here grinding, and this is unbelievably incredible right here. I mean, we're watching. Look at this on high bar. German Giants on high bar. It's so rare. I'm getting unbelievably hyped right here.
So this is Julian Lufang. Croc said he was the guy to watch on high bar. Small star, a little shaky on the dismount and a little shaky on his Takachi.
Ring routine's looking
So
very
probably not quite the routine he was looking for.
Just got to put the dismount to his feet.
Here we go.
Double.
That's a big dismount. That's a
Great height on it, but it looks like he lost the turnover through the top.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's hard to bounce back.
Some of these guys too, because we're in our sixth event, but some of these guys, they're fresh, man. They're looking strong, and these guys are out here to win.
And Nick, that is something that's so important to talk about. Depending on how many events you're on a college team, these guys came into the venue at 4:30. It is currently 8:13 here. They've been here almost 4 hours. Some of them warmed up their event 2.5, 3 hours ago, and they've just been sitting cheering on their team this whole time.
The
and then
doesn't show it.
all of a sudden you get a 2-minute one touch, and you're expected to hit the hardest sport on the planet like it's nothing. It is unbelievable. And something I
You
talk
wouldn't be
about.
able to tell looking at these guys.
Absolutely.
Their energy's high. Their level is high. What they're doing is amazing, and they're coming out and killing these routines.
Absolutely. And
Coming up next on Distilleries, representing Rocky Mountain, Marshall Burrow.
That's where you see the difficulty in the sport too, because a lot of these athletes hit these routines a lot in the gym, but when they get out here with this much energy and there is that much pressure to hit this routine, that's where you see falls. That's where you see the taking 5 steps in a dismount.
So that's where, as a coach, you start that with the junior guys when they're young, teaching these guys how to bring the same level of performance outside of their home environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you can master that at a younger age, then you can see it a lot in the guys that come to college. Their consistency is just better,
Yeah.
And real quick, if you guys are on here and you're looking for the Eastern stream, unfortunately, GymAC just didn't have the manpower to bring it live, but I just received news. There is going to be a live streamed recap show of Western Conference Championships, which is happening right now, identical time in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 3 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the GymAC YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button. Do not miss that, because we're watching Westerns right now, and I'm real curious to see where Easterns lands, because in 2 weeks, East, West, we come together, and it's going to be a fight. It's going to be one heck of a fight.
I'm excited to watch it.
All right, how often have you seen that release move right there, the Markolov? Almost never, right?
Yeah, we were
That's
just...
a cool one.
Wait a minute, there was a Markolov?
So
Markolov.
He actually did 2 of the very
Yamawaki?
similar.
Yeah.
Yamawaki, which is legs together, and that one is legs apart.
So like I said, so that was Xander Agate. He does a lot of the same skills that I trained. He just generally does them better.
He did it beautifully.
This meet is winding down. You know, we're talking about Texas a lot. I haven't really been watching. Beautiful dismount from Texas. I don't know how their pommel rotation went, and that's really going to decide where they land on this podium. Meet's winding down a little bit. This is where it gets interesting because this is where the random routine that puts it over the top.
And with that does finish competition here at the 2023 Gymnastics Western Conference Championship.
But I am just dying to ask Nick, Dakota, this is your first gym out
We're now going to go ahead and get the awards
I would love for you guys to give us your impression from what you thought 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago, and what you're thinking now.
Honestly, I saw some of the biggest gymnastics in the night. You know, coming to this meet, you know, we have such amazing youth. This level of gymnastics is NCAA. There's guys out here that are doing bigger skills than what we see in the NCAA. You know, and they're getting to do this. They're getting to go to the schools that they want to. Not necessarily. I know, like some of these. One of our athletes, I said, that is in this. He wanted to do marine biology, and he wanted to go to Galveston, A&M Galveston. So we got to go pursue the schools that he wanted to go to, and also still continue his gymnastics career. And like that's what this is all about. You know, these guys are able to compete at the level that they want to, competing against some of the best guys in the nation, and also still pursue the schools that they want to. That's awesome.
Dakota.
That really took the words out of my mouth. I'm really thrilled. I mean, it is
I get the feeling it's hard to do.
Yeah. I talk a lot.
I mean, it's okay.
Well, I will say, before I get into that, I mean, this is how amazing our gymnastics community is. First time meeting both these gentlemen. And we share a common thing, and that's the love of the sport and the growth of the sport. Again, it's great meeting you all, and it's been a blast commentating this competition with you.
Coaches, please come up to the head table and verify your score. Once again, coaches, please come to the head table and do a verification on your score.
Here we are. All right, and we are bringing it back live right here on the stream. So we were talking about just where Gymac's at, your guys' impression, and I agree. I mean, we've got 5 guys sitting here at this table, and I can't think of another sport or really much else that brings people together like this. I mean, we're sitting in front of a table of tens of thousands of dollars of electronics. If you guys were at the very beginning of the stream, I actually did the content for this. The Scoring Basics video was played earlier, and the intro. I mean, those take hours each to gather the content and put them together.
Great job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a passion project. We've got somebody volunteering to do a recap show of Easterns tomorrow. I mean, this weekend alone, in this production that we just watched right here, and the production that's going on tomorrow, we have hundreds, if not thousands of man hours and dollars playing here, and it's just unbelievable what Gym Act and the sport of men's gymnastics brings together.
Hey, I want to thank everybody that watched today because we did hit 500.
We absolutely did.
Huge mark.
Let's refresh to see where we're at, and we're gonna go through a couple of little recaps. We're gonna talk about the all around everything. We are actually at 505 subscribers. Thank you all so much. You are helping push this incredible, not only the sport and Gym Act itself, but everything. Collegiate men's gymnastics, which is holding up internationally across everything. So thank you all for the support. We can't do it without you. Like I said, all this, once we're done being live, it'll be recorded. Share it everywhere. Blast it out. Check it out. Keep pushing it all out there. Let's show the entire world what gymnastics is about. And as a member of Gym Act, if there's any content you want to see, if there's anything people are confused on, comment about it. Let us know. You can go to gymact.org, email the media team directly. We will get whatever content you want out. We've got amazing people right here. So before we get into the awards, I kind of want to go around one by one, and I'd love to talk about the battle that we just saw. And we're not going to spoil the results. We are going to go ahead and bring those as they come through. But I'd love to start with kind of our newcomers to Gym Act. Nick, do you think Arizona was able to hold on?
I think Arizona came in strong. They had some difficulties here and there. I saw some missed landings, but what I did see is, that first guy out, if he had missed his routine, everybody else in the rotation, they stepped it together. They put in that team effort, and I saw hit for hit after that. They knew what they needed to do, and that is such a strong asset. As a team effort, especially when you know that 4 count and you got 5 up. The first guy goes down, you gotta bring them together. You gotta put in the energy, and that's what they did. So it was awesome watching them.
Fantastic. Dakota.
I saw a strong finish by Arizona. They were in the lead on the 5th event. They went to roll and they did what they needed to do. So I'm really wondering what's going to happen right now with the score. I'm very excited. I want to know. Stop holding up.
And Carl, as a former Husky, what do you think? Was Washington able to fight them off?
I think Washington started really good, and I think they through the last 2 events, I think they struggled to hold up that momentum. I was watching a lot of very large errors on dismounts. I think maybe they were starting to get fatigued, and they just weren't as refined as they needed to be. And Arizona, it looked like on their last 2 events, sort of did the opposite and really pulled together after Palmas. I saw some good high bar. I got some great rings and some really strong vaults. And that may have been enough to turn the tides for them.
Absolutely. So, the other big scoreboard things to look out for is, Texas Armadillos were in this fight. It didn't look like, they had a couple big misses. Paul McMurray was a little rough on them. A brand new team, it's so hard to hold that depth all the way through the meet. The big question is, were they able to crack into the top 3? So, Carl, prediction for the top 3 before you look at results. What do you think?
As much as I hate to admit it, my gut tells me ASU going to vault in the last rotation for as strong as they were. I fear that Arizona may have gotten the lead. So my guess is going to be Arizona, Washington, Texas.
He thinks Texas held on a 3rd spot. Dakota.
I'm going to go with the same prediction. That's it right there.
Nick.
I feel like it's the same thing. As much as I wanted to see the Armadillos climb, and they started off so strong. They were in the leader at, the 2nd rotation of that. But they did put up some big gymnastics. They had some big misses. And that's what it is. It's just, you got to risk it, and sometimes you're going to hit it, sometimes you're not. Today it kind of fell apart a little bit. But the fact that they were there for a second just shows what they're capable of in the future.
Absolutely. And, I'm going to agree with everybody's prediction. I think Arizona kept it together. Those vaults were unbelievable. A couple of sticks.
First vault.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
They fought back so well. And, I think the Huskies held on to a strong second. I think they've got some pressure on Arizona going into national championships. But I truly don't know if that 3rd spot, I think it could be Texas. It could be SoCal. I think SCU finished up
all the judges
but also could be Rocky Mountain. We watched Rocky Mountain finish real strong on rings, and I honestly, I think we know the top 1 too. And I'm going to make it very clear, it's not official, we don't know, but I think 1 and 2 are going to be, I think it's going to go Arizona, Washington, but I really, really, really don't know who that 3rd spot went to.
How close are we talking tenths? Are we talking points?
I think 3rd, 4th, and 5th are separated by less than a point.
Really?
I think they're in that tight.
That's what I'm interested to see. What the point spread is.
Something I'm also interested in to find out the all-around winner, the individual all-around winner.
I would be very interested. We haven't talked about that a lot. I know we have 3 Huskies in the all-around. I'm not sure how many other all-rounders there are. But the other real interesting thing to talk about now is, this, as it was said in the promo, this is for the title Best in the West. This isn't the big one. This isn't the crown. And last year, it was unbelievable. Iowa came out of nowhere, first-year team, first year off the bench, and they took Arizona's crown. First time in a long time. And I remember talking to the president of GymAX, who's also the head coach of Arizona's program. I was like, oh, it's longer than that. Arizona has 26 titles, and I believe Huskies took one from them. It's like 14 in a row.
He knows that year.
And the Huskies
mid 2000s, I think was the last time. I think
2006 was where
we were gunning for you guys for a few years back in the day.
Well, I mean, and the Huskies, like we talked about earlier, you know, I'm not throwing any shade on the Huskies. They are a great program, and it is incredible. They've been right there, and man, when they crack that door open, it's going to be crazy. So now, you know, looking at this, I'm really, really interested to see how Easterns went. Like I said, it's been right now. It will be live streamed, a live recap of it tomorrow from our amazing producer, John Lucas out of NorCal. You obviously know John from NorCal, Carl, and he's gonna take that over. I'm gonna say thank you to him. I'm really excited to see that production and see all the great gymnastics happening in the East, because the big heavy hitters are over there. Minnesota's in that fight, Iowa's in that fight, two superpowers. But don't turn your back on the men's floor. New York, I think we're gonna see that same thing. One or two guys up top, and then everybody else is going to be a dogfight for the third place. So, you know, I think we're going to do the mics live. You should be able to hear all the awards that are announced. I want to say thank you to our entire commentating team. It was kind of crazy. There are these implications for 4 commentators on it, and I think it turned out great. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to everybody at home. Thank you so much. Like I said, I'm going to pitch it one more time. Hit that subscribe button. Keep sharing this out. We are trying so hard to bring all this content for you free live right here.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Keep an eye right here, 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow for the Eastern Recap Show. And on behalf of myself, SpeedStreams.com, I want to say thank you to Zach for all of his hard work behind the scenes, bringing this on.
Third place on the poll horse with a score of 12.95.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Arizona State Gymnastics, Aiden Myers. Second place from Arizona State Gymnastics, Clayton Cunningham with a score of 13.4. And your pommel horse champion today with a score of 13.90 from the Texas Armadillo, Dallas Hale.
Nice work, Dallas. Good job, horse.
Congratulations, gentlemen. We're now moving to the skill rings. Moving to the skill rings. We have a two-way tie for second place. With a score of 14.05 from Arizona State Gymnastics, Ethan Geronimo, and from SC United, Eric Chan. And your skill ring champion today with a score of 15.05 from the Texas Armadillo, Dallas Hale. Congratulations, gentlemen. We're now moving to the vault. Moving to the vault, we have a two-way tie for third place. From the Texas Armadillos, Dallas Hale, and from Arizona State Gymnastics, Hunter Fletching, will score 13.85. Second place, with a score of 14.05 from Arizona State Gymnastics, Jackson Harrison. And your vault champion today with a score of 14.4 from the Washington Huskies, Andrew Leggett. Congratulations, gentlemen. Salute. We're now moving to the parallel bars. We have a two-way tie for second place. Two-way tie for second place. With a score of 13.1 from Washington Huskies, Bradley Stroud, and from Washington Huskies, Andrew Layton. And your parallel bars champion today with a score of 14.45 from the Texas Armadillo, Congratulations, gentlemen. Salute. We're now moving to the high bar. We have a two-way tie for third place. Two-way tie for third place. From SC United, William Pierce. And from SC United, Troy Mendelson with a score of 12.45. Second place, from Washington Huskies, Trevor Rugery with a score of 12.60. And your high-bar champion today with a score of 13.1 from Arizona State Gymnastics, Hunter Brunette. Congratulations, gentlemen. Salute. We're now moving to the all-around. Moving to the all-around. Third place in the all-around from the Washington Huskies, Bradley Stroud with a score of 77.05. Second place in the all-around with a score of 77.35 from the Washington Huskies, Andrew Lehman. And your all-around champion today with a score of 83.0 from the Texas Armadillos, Dallas Hale. Congratulations, gentlemen. Salute. We are now moving to the team awards. We're holding for Sally to do manual labor. It's the first ever of its kind.
Yeah, somebody get a video?
Hey, listen here, Scott.
And the other gentleman up there is Jared Poe. That's the health promoter of this event. Give Jared a round of applause. I'll put my perennial competition.
Wipe your shoes, Jared. I was waiting for some pink ones.
We're now moving to our team awards. Team awards. These were very close. Third place in the team award with a score of 297.6. The Texas Armadillos. Second place in the team awards with a score of 309.05 goes to the Washington Huskies. And your team champions today with a total score of 314.7. Please congratulate Arizona State Gymnastics. These are your team champions. Congratulations, gentlemen. The competition here at the inaugural season of the 2023 Western Conference Championship for the Gymnasts. We want to thank everybody coming out and seeing these incredible athletes for this competition. Men's college gymnastics salute you, and we're making it bigger and bigger every single day. So give these athletes a round of applause. Once